That's pretty quick for 9 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Oh, I did.
I passed here on Sunday, and the young man who's been doing all yard work was out there working away.
Yeah, he was working on Sunday and yesterday.
Yesterday.
Good
Yeah.
guy, I'm telling
He
you.
says this is way better than sitting over there.
Good for him.
Doing a good job.
Well,
too.
sure it
is.
I holler at him
What
every
kind used to
morning.
go
Oh,
on
Milo,
Sunday?
what's that?
Oh, yeah.
He laughs and waves.
How can you keep in?
He was over there chopping weeds at VSO
They're
this
going
morning.
to have his and theirs.
Yeah, I think that's, I
How'd
don't
you
know.
get theirs?
Oh, Jackie.
Off their
brought it.
website.
Really? They did have it exposed, huh? I didn't think they had
Just
it.
had to know where to look.
Yes.
It's
Which
last
one's-
year, under last year's financials, the
Which one's
December
the
report.
executive director?
I'm assuming that's the administrator.
Has to be.
12 months ending.
Now, somebody told me they thought that she filled 2 of those
73,000.
positions because the executive director doesn't make even as much as the other
That
one.
is the,
No, I could never find any place else that I would assume was the executive director other than
And the
It's better than
wife
the
telling you
administrator.
that problem.
That sounds good.
Hey, Kara,
Yes,
ask Vern to come and pick my computer.
run shit.
to go pick it up?
Is he not here today?
He's here, but
Yeah, it's got me a problem here or something. So
Okay.
it's,
Maybe it caught it from Tom's computer.
The other day, yeah.
must have.
Jake, you better keep your computer down there away from
It's
these.
got a disease, it's Microsoft says it's got a
mine's been
problem.
taking probiotics, it's not getting.
Oh, good.
He says,
did you change your
I haven't
password?
changed any passwords, but maybe I'm trying to do
Yeah,
that.
X out of that. Just hit that fire over there on the right and see if it.
See, now there's no way I'm gonna know whatever password. So I'm just gonna- I think it'll work. Not right.
Okay, we ready, Carol?
Whenever you are.
Oh. You good? Custer County Board of County Commissioners meeting will come to order. Let the record show today is September the 3rd, 2019. The time is 9:00 a.m. I would ask Miss Meredith Nichols, our OEM Director, if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. And then she leaves.
Her job is done here.
That's right. That's
She's
right.
done her work.
Yep. Madam Clerk to the Board, would you conduct the roll call, please?
Commissioner Flower.
Present.
Commissioner Cannon.
Here.
Commissioner Prince.
Present.
Attorney Clint Smith.
Present.
And Clerk to the Board Kelly Kemper present.
Thank you, ma'am. Audience introductions.
Jackie Bubis for the Sentinel.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for being here. Amendments to the agenda, gentlemen.
I tried to find it.
And from me.
I have one. Oh, thank you. Due to somewhat not feeling well, Mr. Roth asked if he could be excused from the IT report, and I did so. So we can eliminate that. I would move to amend the agenda by striking the IT staff report. Been moved and seconded to amend the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carries. So IT will not be giving a staff report. Yes, sir.
Are we gonna reschedule, or are we just not gonna have one this month? We had a very good
Yeah,
report
and that's
the
what
other
he
day.
said to me. He said, you know, we just went through all that stuff. He said, if you're okay, I said,
I'm pretty
think we're
good. He doesn't need to
yeah.
come back.
He said, it's business as usual. Nothing else
Oh,
has
there's
changed, so
Cal.
I'm assuming we just, good morning, sir.
Hey, Cal.
Trouble.
Let the record show that Cal Leslie just entered the room.
With a haircut,
We
apparently.
just missed audience introductions, so I introduced you.
Well, good.
Good morning, how are you?
Ready to put up hay?
Good. So, yeah,
You want help? Is that why?
We'll just-
Can we go with you?
we'll have another IT report next month. That's all right, gentlemen?
Yep.
Okay. Commissioner Prince, any amendments?
I have not, sir.
Okay, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes, I don't believe we have any.
And
No.
Commissioner items, Commissioner Tanda, would you like to begin?
You know, a lot happened. I did get a confirmation from RJA. They'll be here on the 6th at 1 o'clock to talk there.
Okay, good. Commissioner Prince?
I really haven't done a whole lot in the last couple of days, except I did put together a proposed committee, and I'd like to ask if both of you are okay with it, to meet for the discussion of the ambulance with the, medical facility. I was thinking of keeping it real small, and what I have is, the people I'd like to ask for your permission to have on the committee is, two people from Wetmore, Mike Halpern and Carol Vahinger, and then Alyssa Livengood for the health portion of it, and so just 4 people. And my plan was we would meet within the next week or so that I could get them up to speed on where we are and how we got to the point we are right now, and then see, once they're up to speed, probably just get a meeting with, I'll call Ms. Drew and set up a meeting where we could just start discussions about what the issues are and how we can come up with a reasonable solution, and certainly won't make any decisions, of course, without the full BOCC.
Who's the Wetmore lady?
I'm sorry, sir?
Who's the gal from Wetmore?
Her name is Carol Vahinger.
Spell it.
Vayhinger.
V-A-Y.
Hinger. She was a county commissioner, and I don't remember what county.
Teller.
She came up here for the meeting, very involved. And she and I spoke after, and I thought, you know what, this is someone who's got a good head on her shoulders. I think she'd be an excellent person to be reasonable with her.
I'm assuming we need a motion to appoint.
Oh, do we?
Let me I got a question. Here, Vern. Yes, sir.
I would think we do, but,
Something screwed up. C-U.
I move to appoint the, Mike Halpin, Alyssa Livengood, and Carol Vahinger to the work committee for the,
I'll second.
EMS
As soon as you finish saying what the motion is, I'll second it.
We moved and
But I want
seconded
some.
to appoint those 3 people to the EMS work committee with the clinic discussion.
Yeah, I have, I would still like to add one more, Jay, and I would like to see it from the hospital district, a citizen, and I'd like to nominate Linda Washington to do that. Because the ultimate solution involves not just the Wetmore people, it involves the big picture, and I know that both Mike Halpin and Carol would be great, and you got a big perspective as well. But I think we need to add that other person.
What, just for my own knowledge, what does Linda bring to the table?
Citizen that actually cares about the county and has a lot of experience. She's a firefighter from past, knows emergency services forwards and backwards, and has the interest of, in the end, I really think that the ultimate solution has to involve more than just adding the citizens to Wetmore, and it might involve, if we look at the budget, breaking down that hospital budget, and also could impact the mill levy on the emergency services, either a plus or minus across the whole county, meaning the hospital district and the emergency services.
Does she live in Wetmore?
Lives in the valley.
Okay. You know, I'll be happy to talk to her.
Talk to
The
her.
one thing I was, and I talked to Mike Halpern about this also, we really don't wanna get it too big, because
No,
a
I
small
agree.
group, we can get, a
That's small.
consensus with us,
Mhm.
and then have a united front with, the hospital district. And I don't see this as adversarial at all.
No, I
I
don't
see this
either.
as working out a
I do
solution.
too. And that's why you need a variety of input from different
Yes, give
perspectives,
me
so
a
you
call,
get a
I'll be
better
happy to
option.
talk, I'll be happy to talk to her if you don't mind.
So we wanna wait on the vote?
You wanna wait until we talk to her, or do you wanna, you've talked to
She'd be a
these
good
other
choice.
people?
Oh,
She'd
yeah,
be very
all
good.
these folks are fine. If you feel that we need another person and someone up here,
Other people know her, I think Jackie just pointed that out.
what?
Yeah, so if you'll ask her to call Jay
Yeah,
and,
ask her to call me,
Let's do
we'll put the
that.
vote off and.
Cause I think it's worthwhile just making sure we cover everybody's perspective.
we can always
I
add.
have no problem with it.
Further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor of approving these three people, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Carries.
Yep, and we'll go with 4, right? You said 3, 4.
Well, there's three right here. The
Oh,
motion
three
is to accept
and
these,
Jay.
to appoint
And then-
these three.
Right, well, the 4 would
Right,
take.
and I'll come back and ask you.
Okay, and then we'll vote on
Once I
it.
speak to her, you know,
Okay,
Fair enough.
Spell Carol's last name one more time.
yes, the way I have, Vayhinger.
They.
Vayhinger, I think is how she pronounced it. I asked her to marry someone with the name Smith, but she ignored me.
I'm willing.
yeah, that's
There
right.
you go.
There goes Clint again.
Um,
Who woke him up?
So the only thing I
It
would
wasn't
have
just
to
a-
report, I
two
spoke
changes.
with
Something.
Ivan
A change.
Mars.
Is that what it was?
We're gonna buy a handicap van accessible sign base. We have 2 of them, but we need 3. He thought it would be about $150, so I just told him to go ahead and deal with that. And then we also need to get a new scale digital readout. That one's fading by the day. They no longer manufacture it or any parts for it. It went obsolete in the 90s, so I told him to go ahead and get something started on that as well. He talked to the company, he thought,
Who he?
Ivan Mars,
Oh, Ivan did.
he thought the piece of equipment and then integrating it into the scale would be about $1,400. So,
What is it?
the digital scale readout.
Just screwed up.
So we can't really afford to have that just crap the bed and then spend 2 or 3 weeks trying to get it back up and running. So
Is that a cowboy term?
crap the bed is, yes.
Just curious.
Sort of like getting down to the.
Can we move on,
Cut.
gentlemen? Or?
I got
We hung up.
one thing I did, since we're still in the commissioner items.
Yes, sir.
I have been fielding a bunch of complaints on the tower.
Okay.
And so I thought maybe we ought to discuss PR in it here and publishing why it's here, because every time I answer the question, you know, it's emergency services, it's for the good, blah, blah, and we, you know, it is a big, high flagpole out there. And everybody who wants the quaint look of the cute little town, you see this spike. And, there's a good reason for it. So we ought to maybe consider putting an article on it or something from the county and
That's
talk
wonderful.
about what it is, because
Ask the media to explain.
and it
that
happened
it's
so
not-
fast. I mean, it was a 1-day construction.
Well, if they've been
Certainly.
keeping up, they'd already know that.
We can
And so the
certainly-
question
I know.
is, do these people read the paper?
No, and in fact, when you say, hey, emergency services, they skip to the next article, but until they, and you know, actually, I didn't realize how tall, I knew it was gonna be tall, but because there's nothing else other than 30 feet tall out there, it really shut.
That's what I tell people. I told them it's gonna be wonderful when we get the Christmas lights hanging down.
Yeah, you can string tinsel on it.
Well, I think writing a press release certainly would be,
That's a good idea.
And put it in the,
Put it
Well,
on the
papers.
county website too,
yeah. use
because
one.
not everybody gets papers.
So, who wants to write it? I can ask Joanne to help on that.
I'll go back and write it, I'll get the contract out.
Yeah, you got the data, that's a good idea.
In theory, it's supposed to get better service for AT&T customers too, right?
I don't know about that, because it's not a commercial town.
That was part of the discussion, but I don't think that was a guarantee.
I mean, they could hang a horn on there and help, but I don't know if that's the plan.
It's really for emergency service.
Yeah, that's what it was built for. I don't know, that's a good question.
And I agree, it's not the most sightly thing you've
I
ever
believe they
seen.
said that.
And now,
Health and
Yeah,
safety comes first.
Improve cell phone service.
if it does that, it'll be a miracle.
Okay, anything else, gentlemen?
Not finished.
I don't know why I don't have the date on the next upper arc meeting. I'm gonna research it right now. a certain day every month. I just didn't go back on my calendar and,
Day or the week,
day of the month. I think it's the third Thursday, but,
It's the 26th of September, no, the 19th of September appears.
While you're pulling it up, I still have a call. Skanga got back, I think, from Italy. I've got to call him today to set up a Blue Line Committee meeting with us. Us being county.
I hope you have better luck than one of the board members that requested it. Mike Shields requested, the committee looked to getting together, and Skanga told him it was none of his concern, that everything needed to go through the manager's office, that he was not to be contacting other people in the,
Did he bring it in the meeting or something?
Pardon?
That's kind of crazy. What, didn't he bring it up in the meeting with him or something?
he just sent an email asking all the members of the Blue Line Expansion Committee if they could get together. So,
That's weird.
yes, it was very weird. I think I will probably address that at the next.
Well, as soon as I find out if and when, I'm gonna put an email out to the Wet Mountain Valley Water Association.
Let's see there.
And all the people that it filed.
Yeah, I was looking for
Made that.
August meeting.
Turns out it wasn't my email address that was the bug, it was the computer got a bug.
That's weird. Oh, man, it's on the 8th of August, so it'll be the 2nd.
Some Thursday.
Of the same evening?
Did you ever send it to last after?
It should be the 12th, correct?
They told me after a certain time.
Well, I'm just going off of the 8th, and I don't see it on their website.
Oh, well, I do have it on the 12th. Yeah, I have it September 12th and 12th, I would say 12:30 on the list. Yeah, I have it on the 12th on my calendar.
Should be 1 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, they have that executive thing ahead of time. I was going to that, or I try to go to that.
Well, I think their enterprise starts at 1, and then the
Yeah.
district meeting follows, but
check.
they don't have it on their website. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard that, they're talking about moving the Blue Line.
I haven't heard anything from,
Well, what I heard
Rocks.
was, some homeowners on the east side want water so they can have a yard and this and that and the other. You know, my personal opinion is they should have picked a better spot to live, if that's what they wanted.
It's true.
You know, because I live in Blumenau and we're augmented, so we've already got an augmentation plan. These other people, you know, if you wanted a yard and all this other stuff, want to be able to wash your car, why, you know,
Could have thought.
you can't pump water uphill.
Well, they can't modify the Blue Line without changing the whole filing, so it would be true.
Well, that's good, but I just heard that, and I just wanted to see.
They can apply for it, they could ask, but they
Huh?
can't. They could go ask, but that means that they'd have to redo everything, so.
Okay, that's the only question I had.
okay, thank you, sir.
I gotta go to work.
Thank you, Kevin.
Have a
You're
good
easy.
day, man.
Yep.
Okay, attorney items.
I wrote a couple of letters for Jackie Hobby for the suspected scofflaws out there who are following the zoning resolution.
Okay.
She's got a bunch of things on, she's on the agenda today. This one is I got an email from Donna this morning, the Canyon City Police Department weekly, it's a warrant list, and here's Mark Howard.
Listed on there, huh?
Yeah, he says multiple active warrants, $1,500 total in bonds. I talked to Mike about it just before the meeting, and he checked and said Mr. Howard's actually been arrested, scheduled to appear in court in Canyon City today.
You know why I didn't find out that was sooner, geez.
Pardon?
I wonder why that didn't come out sooner, unless they just happened over the weekend.
I actually, Brenda Jackson, when I had asked her for some assistance in preparing that lawsuit, I asked her what was going on. She said he was still harassing people up there, and a local fitness center filed a harassment case. That's what this one is about, I
Oh, they
think.
are.
But he's, still bothering the sheriff up there. But he's leaving us alone right now, which is all that I care about.
Yeah.
And if he's, I guess he got a personal recognizance bond, unfortunately, because if they'd made him post a cash bond, he'd still be sitting in jail up there. But I'll monitor that, see what happens with that case. And I guess that's all I have to report.
Admin assistant,
Nothing.
okay. Public comment,
Cal's gone.
hearing none, we'll move on. Staff reports.
Can I have a second here? I forgot
Sure.
one thing. I did get the hay out to the airport, and at the next board meeting, we plan to get the board out there sprinkling sprinkling the flakes around. If you want to come out,
The board meeting, the airport board?
airport board.
Yeah, you'll keep us posted, or do you have a date?
No, just the Thursday.
Oh, you
Next
do it
week.
during the regular board meeting?
Right after the meeting. We got everything.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on. Staff reports.
Where you been?
There is a name for the landfill, but I can't pronounce it. Lindsay. How are you, buddy?
Good.
Good. Been beat to death? That scraper's about to get you down?
My guts can take it.
Yeah.
How's your kidneys?
Well, thanks for sending us the report, appreciate that.
They'll come and get it probably Friday. Thursday will be my last day.
You boys want to scoot that way about 2 inches, because
Yep.
I'm
Crown
going
your-
off the table here. That's cool. Yeah, that's good.
So they're gonna come pick it up, huh? You about done with it?
Yeah, Thursday will be the last day. So I've got 3 days.
I told Jay this morning I had intended to come out there and look, and I just didn't get it done, so did you make it to the end or no? 300 feet?
Yeah, I got 300 feet and a 200-foot ramp going out right now. So I'll keep working the next 3 days. I'll just keep working west.
How does that happen when you get to the end? You have to leave a certain distance for the ramp, or you don't just,
Yeah, because
you got a daylight?
trash trucks and whatnot have a hard time going out. It's
Yes,
too
Straight
steep.
in.
Okay, good. Good. Golder wants to meet.
Yeah, we have to use that clay material to cover the pits with 4 feet material, 4 feet of clay on these pits when they close them, when they're capping them. And so I have a stockpile of clay over there. They just have to come up and test it to make sure that it's okay. It's not too sandy or too gravelly.
Where'd you get it? Where'd you dig it?
Comes off the top of
Oh, the
Yeah.
same area, and
Yeah.
it's got nothing in it?
Yeah, you have about 2 feet of topsoil and then about the same clay.
Good.
I call it clay anyway. But that's the material that we have to use to cap those pits with, so they'll come up and test that.
So we need to set a date to meet with CDPHE and go over.
Yeah, and I called them. I called CDPHE and Golder, and they both said that come up with a date. They'll be happy to come to West Cliff.
Nice. You have a date
So that,
in mind?
Did they
No,
charge you for that?
doesn't matter to me. I don't know about Golder, but the state I don't think will.
11th September, Wednesday.
I know that Jill from CDPHE is going to the conference in the Springs, and I think that's the last week of September.
Well,
Sure.
how about we shoot them a couple of dates, gentlemen? What's your calendar look like? 11th would be good for me. The last full week I'm gone.
11th looks good for me.
You look.
If we get into October, it'll have to be after the budget hearings, which end on the 18th. So maybe the 21st, oh no, we close on Monday night.
Yeah.
22nd in the morning.
Then I could go out on that Monday. When it's closed, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Monday, which?
21st of October.
It works.
So how about September 11 is a possible date? October 21?
Either one works.
Either
for me.
one. I'd rather do October first.
October 22 in the morning, we have CES meeting in the afternoon.
Yeah, that'd be better, kill two birds with one stone. For me.
And then, it's a little dicey after that. 23rd in the afternoon, we have a Wetmore board meeting. So you wanna jot down, October 21,
Sounds good to me.
October 22 AM,
What are we calling it? Landfill.
CDPHE Golder Associates. And then 22 in the morning. October 21 could be any time during the day. And then October 22 is in the morning, AM. Holler, gentlemen, if you have any issues, October 23rd in the afternoon, probably 2-ish, because we'll be in Wetmore.
I'd do it.
I'd say let's do the, I hate to rush out on his day off, but I mean, 21st looks good to me.
Yeah.
The 21st, that's a Monday?
That'd be the preference,
Is
yeah.
that okay?
That would be fine.
What time do you wanna do that?
Well, you'll have to get a hold of them, they're gonna travel down here,
Right.
right, so I'd say probably 10
10
or 11,
I
yeah.
imagine right in there somewhere.
Okay. So you'll shoot those possible dates to them and let us know what they think.
Okay, so
That
October.
Golder, Golder.
Golder.
21st at
the-
2 o'clock, that was in.
The engineers,
Engineers.
yep,
Okay.
company handling the expansion of the,
CHP.
21st is Monday, and they said morning.
They said.
no, on the 21st, anytime would work. 22nd needs to be
Oh,
morning.
okay.
And Golder.
So Monday the 21st sounds good to me.
To me, it'd be better than the 11th of September.
And what
but-
time do we wanna do?
Well, let's talk to them and see what.
You wanna give them a window?
I put 10
I'll
on
let
there.
you know,
Right.
let you know what time they
Have
can
to
be
be.
here if that works out for both of them.
Yeah, since they're driving down here, time doesn't matter to me. If they wanna do it in the afternoon, that's fine too.
I'm fine too.
Midday, whatever.
And what are you meeting with them for?
Expansion.
Location's gonna be out there or here.
I think we could probably come in here.
Okay. You set it up and let us know, that'd be great.
Then if they wanna go look, we could go
Yeah,
look at
sure.
it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Hopefully Golder will have a new map of the area and everything updated.
Okay?
Well, yeah, if you can
So
get that set up,
21st.
21st would be, I guess, our first priority, yeah.
Okay.
They may not be able to do it either, so we'll just have
Right.
to see.
Okay.
Okay, good. Are you gonna budget for the balance of the skid steer, or do we need to do that?
Donna said that that's gonna come out of capital improvement anyway,
Okay, so you don't need to bother with it.
and so it should just write a check and then.
Easy for you to say.
Same exact machine?
It's a little bit different, not much. A little bit different. Because he's ordering it to make it cheaper for us. So there's a few options that we're not gonna have, which we don't need anyway. I just need it to go up and down.
Get rid of the TV and the
Okay.
stair and the
Yeah,
air conditioner.
we'll have AC.
Not
Oh,
gonna-
really?
Not gonna nix that, huh? You can have air conditioning, just don't put a cab on it.
cabinets.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll have
The
a
cabinets
cabinet
really good,
heater,
especially in the
AC,
winter.
Good, okay. Perfect.
Anyway, he said it'd be probably about 60 days if you order it now. Something's gonna go on that.
Yep, I think so, don't you? I mean, the money's been earmarked and approved, so.
It's been approved,
we'll
it's
get that money
let's
spent.
go do it while we can.
Yep,
Okay.
and that was a CDPHE grant, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so let's try to get that money expended before the end of the year, for sure. Okay?
You say it was Four Rivers?
Yeah. John Deere,
Yeah.
Four Rivers,
Mm.
on the west.
They're good out there.
It's not going to Cheyenne.
That other machine would have been nice, but they sold it, so.
Yeah.
Darn those guys.
Okay. What else, sir?
That'll do it. I'll go back at it.
Bring a bag of money today or not?
Well, we were closed Saturday,
Oh,
so I
that's
have to keep it over there until tomorrow, so we have change for these $100 bills that come in.
Always like to see you coming out of the bag of money. All right, sir, thank you.
Okay,
Have a great day.
you betcha.
Yeah.
Thank you. Kelly?
Kelly, Rusty. We like to get right to the point, don't we?
Gary.
All right.
Next victim.
Road and Bridge, right on the time frame this morning. That's highly unusual. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Is that
Oh,
all
yeah.
about, huh?
Well, we're unfashionably a little early, so.
Don't, Tom, just 'cause the schedule says waste the whole morning. Let's
Yeah.
not. If he's here early.
He's here right on time.
Yeah, he is.
We sent out a new
Yeah.
DHS there. How things?
Pretty good. Could use some rain.
Yeah, probably ready now. I think most people are done haying, not everybody, but. You want good or bad first?
Well, go ahead, bad. I wanna see things go up here.
We start at the bottom, if you wanna go one direction, Pines Road.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, the worst I've ever seen it.
Really?
Yeah, it's brutal.
I had a lady complaining to me about it, but this was the strangest thing. She came to me and said, I really need help with Pines Road, and I'm writing it down, cause I would've called you and said, could you try and take a look? And she says, but I wanna tell you, they've been working on it the last 2 days. And I said, well, ma'am, why are you complaining? Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
Well, unless that's been a while, but,
It's been about 2 weeks.
okay, yeah. I was on it the last 3 days and it is.
Well, poor guy's here today, otherwise we'd been working on it.
He'll be drying out a little bit.
He'll be back in the morning and we should be able to get on.
I mean, I get, the standard washboard thing. I understand that, but,
Unfortunately, we've had to neglect it so we could work on culverts. It's kind of a
yeah.
give up
Yeah.
on culverts or,
Well, I had a couple phone calls on it, but again, like I said, I was on it myself and, man, from Kettle Lane down to Camper's house is almost impassable, yeah. 5 miles an hour just tear your vehicle apart. And there's no escaping it. Typically you can slide over a little bit, but this is from road edge to road edge, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of those we're gonna have probably look seriously about putting some mag on
Yeah.
next year.
Cut
That
through it.
material just shot. Last time Scott bladed it, he cut several times to get to the bottom of the washboard. And he had it great for a while, but then when it goes bad, it goes bad.
I still go back to those sections of Kettle Lane that you mag chlorided for the detour. They're still, you can tell, you can see them from a half a mile away. You go, oh yeah, that was mag chlorided. It's darker in color, it's absorbing that moisture, and I think the road is holding up too.
One thing busting it up is the water that pushed it up a little bit. Had a complaint on Oak Circle, whatever it is. It's past the old golf course before you get to the end of the pavement. And there's a turnoff to go behind there, Bowlingle area,
Oh, yeah.
Oak Grove.
Yeah.
And I was on it a couple times, but man,
Washburn.
like he's saying, this one, gotta be careful.
Yeah. I know priorities to get on times for sure. And I know Scott's working on, they did 198 or 191. They should be on Vermont. If not today, maybe tomorrow, or then Pines will, I haven't heard about it.
Did they go through the top of Vermont or not?
It's not,
Up to the cattle guards or?
but,
Actually, it's
Where
beyond
is
the
that?
cattle guard where our maintenance is. It's beyond the cattle guard, through the trees, another acre.
That's where our road ends, and it becomes subdivision after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping that, and that's one of them deals where we don't wanna just do kind of a hit and miss on these other ones, we're fixing them right, so. But, yeah, I bet Pine's gonna be on tomorrow, so hopefully we can help them do that.
Yeah,
it's not.
anyway. Alright, so what else?
Now
Now that we beat you down.
That's alright. Part of it. So we're getting low on gravel out here at our pit, so I need to get this published pretty soon in the paper. It's got the dates and everything.
Okay.
We're gonna have to, we had, gravel crushed a couple of years ago. We only did like about 35,000 ton. In the past when they've done almost double that. It's lasted about 4 years. Since we did half the amount, it's lasted a couple of years. But we're gonna have to have it done here in the next several months again, so.
I thought it was, I thought we just did it last year.
Year before.
I haven't been down into the pit, but I thought I saw a bunch of crushing equipment coming up to the Ulay pit.
Oh, yeah, I talked to,
Yeah, he was out, saw
Colorado
that.
Crushers out
Huge.
there, but they're in there doing some stuff between the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Any chance we could pigtail on them while they're up here, or is it till we get an operation?
No, cause, we're not ready to crush, we gotta get a bunch pushed up in a big pile
And you
first.
gotta go to bid anyway.
Yeah, so, it would've been nice if that would've worked out, since they were already in the area. They would've probably submitted a pretty decent bid, since they weren't having to mobilize to this area.
So you're going to the pit next to the landfill?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a guy in a dozer pretty quick and get some pushed up. Alright.
Love it. Okay,
You done stacking hay?
yeah.
He's got the time.
What would you anticipate a bid for some project like this would be? I mean, is it a $10,000 project, 5,000?
No, it's nearly 100,000.
Budgeted.
For next year. That's part of one of the items I submitted.
I just didn't know the scope of that, like 35 ton.
Yeah, they charge nearly $3 a ton to crush that stuff, so. I think last time it was like $2.65 or something, so. It's kind of pricey, but it's material we gotta have. Of course, everything in the road and bridge department is pricey.
How did it lay down?
It, actually had more rock in it than I wish it
Looked
did.
like
I
it
wish
did.
we could separate some more of the rock out of it when it gets crushed. I'm gonna talk to crushers about that. Too much gravel in this stuff is not a good thing, cause it comes to the surface and then the tires.
Tires just pushing it.
Well, yeah, that's what causes some of the washing areas, too much gravel. It deteriorates the surface of it. It's almost like abrasive. So, a little less gravel becomes nice.
You wanna open bids on the 1st of October,
Yeah, that's our next, department head meeting.
and then you would crush after the 1st of the year.
No, if we can get stuff pushed up, I'd just soon do it before the end of the year, so that it can set through the winter and not snow melt into it and give it moisture for putting on the roads. That works out real well, so.
But you're not budgeted for it this year.
No, it would get paid for it out of next year's budget.
Oh, okay. They'd be alright with that. RB office at centurytel.net, huh? Wow. Wonder why that is.
A lot of ours used to be Century Tel. I'm surprised he hasn't switched the logo.
Yeah, I am too. Huh.
What,
Should be CusterCountyGov.com, I would have expected, but.
RV office.
I don't know how.
We're still
Would that
getting
mess
them.
you up? You got a lot of mail in.
Well,
Still get them, or?
we just have to change it on the board.
Yeah, and you might wanna, cause remember he talked the other day about changing everybody into a .gov instead of a .com. So,
And
Yeah, we're going through
wait,
some security
wait.
protocols, so this might be a time to do it, but not that it's a big deal. Just was surprised when I saw that.
Yeah,
Okay,
just give me
well, I would guess we probably need a motion to authorize this.
I move that we, now how do you want us to put it?
Well,
Well, we're gonna do it before it's.
I don't know, we got some.
I don't think we need it, I don't think we need a motion.
Yeah, it's just something, and we didn't do it last time either,
It's in your budget,
yeah.
and you got it handled.
Mhm.
2020, and we're doing it in 2019.
Okay, in that case,
That's my only concern.
then I would say we need a motion.
So, alright, so I move we go ahead and let him spend that money to do that, and pay for it out of next year's budget. That's what his plan is.
So,
I'll go ahead and second it for discussion purposes.
okay, I was thinking about posting this, but if it's the money thing, it's been moved
Well,
and
that's-
seconded that we authorize Gary to spend the money to get 35,000 tons of 3/4 minus crushed. Discussion?
So the anticipation would be you pay the bill in 2020, once the budget's approved?
Yes.
Or do you have it in your budget for 2019?
No, I don't have it. in
That's
front
what
of
I'm
me.
thinking, that's why I'm asking, so whoever you made this agreement with, you would notify them that they get paid in January?
Yeah, and there's a high, there's strong possibilities because of the workload, they might not be able to crush.
I won't get to it until November anyway.
Yeah, November, and then by the time,
When they submit their bill.
it usually takes them about 4 weeks to get it crushed, so by the time we get this, it's a month later, and then,
It's
Fine,
smart move.
I just don't wanna have someone anticipating our check arriving and say, oh, we gotta wait 3 more weeks or a month or whatever.
checks in the
So-
mail.
But you'll have that conversation with them.
absolutely.
Okay.
Further discussion?
Technically, you're committing a future board for an obligation. So I guess this is conditional upon the money being budgeted, this motion for 2020.
Good point.
Well, that's, what you normally do in that case, you always budget money for the, per normal process, you carry it. But
Clint's right.
he's right, we gotta make
Because
sure.
we don't have the money
That's-
until
but-
we budget it.
Right, and so, well, the only reason I bring it up, making sure that everybody's comfortable that that is the process and not, that we will address it in that year.
Well, it puts the burden on us that we must approve
That's
this in
right.
the budget since we're agreeing to it today.
Right.
So I think council's
Points well
point is
taken.
well taken, yeah.
I agree.
Now, the other safety net here is that we're talking about an account, dedicated funds. If worse come to worse, he'd have to shuffle within his own budget around to make room for this,
Which is what
Expense
happens in
here, but-
emergencies.
so.
Yeah, we could do a supplemental or something of that nature, because the funds are there in excess of what we need. We need to do a supplemental. Kinda like what we did with Max Water,
Sure.
is what we did this year.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of authorizing expenditure for 35,000 tons of 3/4 inch minus rock crushed, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay. SUPA.
I got this a couple of weeks ago, UTEP had some surplus funds that they distributed again. We got a similar amount last year, so. And I've talked to Donna in both Virginia about making a separate account to put that in so that it's easier to get our hands on it. Say for, it would be outside of our normal budget, so that something come up,
Yeah, UTF sent those figures out, preliminary figures anyway, so.
So it can be used for anything in your
and,
line,
yeah, within a residential.
right? It's gotta be.
Outside of an additional.
386,000.
Something like that,
So,
you know.
pretty nice.
Pretty nice chunk of change.
Yeah, considering the cost of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, later on, we do wanna buy a chip seal machine, those funds could be used for.
Or mag chloride.
Or mag, yeah, sure.
So for the record, HUTF's 386,000, roughly. Okay, good, that helps.
And then.
There's more to your story?
Well, always. Last year we bought our rock from Mike Tezak put down here in Highway 50. And, he's got a lot of that rock left, and I'm thinking for the future, since it's a close haul, it's probably be wise to go ahead and buy another like 2,000 or 3,000 ton of that stuff.
What size?
It's 5/8 minus is what it is, but it's real good, clean rock. It's the rock we used this year, and it worked really nice. We don't always have the luxury of getting our rock close like that, so while it's available, I think I've got it in the budget to be able to get some picked up before the end of the year and pay for it. So
Good.
if you see a bill come through for $30,000
I
for
think
rock.
if it's in the budget, we feel it's appropriate, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I think it's wise to get it stockpiled while it's available in a close location like that. So,
Good management.
That's the same stuff you use on a chip seal, correct?
yeah.
How you tracking on your budget?
How do I track it?
No. How are you doing
Oh.
with the budget? Are you
We,
at where you thought you would be? And
yeah, we're actually.
pension, you're gonna have enough?
No, we're gonna have enough by around $45,000. So,
Cause in theory, you might be able to pay for the gravel if you're not spending it all. The idea is to spend it all for what it's for.
yeah. So what I do is I take a
Bank.
spreadsheet like this, and I've got the months that we've already gone through this year, and then I do an average on each line item, and then each of the 4 remaining months, I put down what that average is, and it gives me a projected imbalance at the end of the year. And that, right now, we're looking at, a surplus or a balance at the end of the year of, 53,000.
See, there's,
So if I spend 30 on rock, I'll still have a projected
Right.
balance of in excess of 20.
The budget,
That's the way it
that's
should
very
be.
close considering the scope of your budget.
Yeah, I don't wanna go over.
well, and we don't wanna be
but I-
banking it and not
No.
spending it for what it was allocated.
No, exactly, and that's what I'm thinking, if I could buy an item like this rock and use it for the future, we just spend some excess money for it, so.
Good.
You got some new hires, huh?
Yes, one's gonna start in the morning and the other one started last week, so,
How many guys put their hat in the ring and advertise it?
not very many.
Really?
I've, recently had 2 applications come in prior to that, just a couple.
Really?
I don't know, the people we got to select from up in here, in this area, it's, submit applications, it's just not very many.
Cause they're not experienced enough yet?
No, they're just, well, I mean, I think, I don't know what it is, our workforce, I guess, pretty limited. I know I've talked to people that are trying to find contract labor where you can pay cash at $20 an hour, they can't get anybody to do it.
Well, I appreciate you keeping us informed via email about your staffing issue. That helps me for sure.
Sure. And I do anticipate, there's a possibility, we do have one good applicant that I'm looking at, and because of Roger retiring, if the right applicant comes in, there's someone in-house who's in that position, got somebody already in place that I can do right now, another individual place that might need that potential.
I think it'd be appropriate to have this conversation. You and I talked a little bit about the process of hiring, if and when Roger retires. I've given that some thought. I spoke to a couple of county department heads, one in the county, one out of the county, and I thought both of them came up with the same suggestion. I'm gonna offer that up to you. Is maybe putting together a search committee of neighboring county road and bridge supervisors and have them come in and go through the process and then make a recommendation to you.
They would be willing to do that,
I think so.
To do what?
so they would like sit in on the.
They would come in and I'm shooting from the hip here, but yeah, they would come in and be your committee, your search committee.
Well, I kinda like that in some ways, I mean, that way it's,
You wanna advertise more than just in the county for some people to help, right? You bring some family in here, they want to move with the job, was right.
Well, yeah, we're talking about the search committee itself.
I know they are, but that search committee would know their people, right? Move them know their area.
but they, like I say, they basically serve as, interview.
You're right,
committee.
make a recommendation.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's bad.
So,
But we need good applicants and make it worthwhile.
Pardon?
We need to advertise it and get.
Yeah, yeah, and it probably ought to be done fairly soon, because we've only got
right,
4.5 months for August to be done, so
Right.
we'll work through the end of the payday.
Give them a chance to look at this valley before the snow gets here.
Sure.
yeah, so I would maybe suggest reaching out to local or neighboring supervisors and ask them if they'd be willing to do that.
I wonder how many individuals are thinking
I'd say 3 or 4.
Just, am I missing something? Did he announce retirement at the end of the year?
He'll work through the pay period in January. His last paycheck.
You'd like to have somebody overlap, like overlap necessarily, just getting somebody that can come in and start at the lower level doing something, right?
A replacement.
Well, we're gonna have to replace the
Right.
assistant supervisor.
Well, sure you do,
Yeah,
but you take that
absolutely.
from a guy that's theoretically in your, or a guy that's qualified to compete against whoever you got that might be interested. In your workforce now.
Yeah, what was talked about was advertising outside of the county, if there's somebody interested, it's got the qualifications outside of the road and bridge department currently.
Yeah.
Of course, open it up to them.
And that's why, that's a good thing to tell the other supervisor when you're having the interview, maybe there's somebody they can recommend, get the word out.
Would you write up a vacancy announcement for that position, and we can get moving forward on that? Get it on our website, of course, and then I don't know if there's a trade magazine or a trade periodical that we could put it in, or, I mean, you've got the Colorado Association of Road and Bridge Supervisors, right? Whatever that's. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll work on something.
I thought it was a good recommendation that they came to me, but I thought, wow, yeah, makes sense. They'd certainly know what qualifications they should be looking for, I would think. And then we don't get mired down into local politics.
That's what I'm working on.
Yeah. So, if you need some help with that, as commissioners, I think we could also reach out to those supervisors or assistant supervisors in neighboring counties, but I would say, I think it'd be appropriate for you to take the lead, and if you want us to follow up or whatever, we sure can. That makes sense, Bill? Mr. Prince?
Sure.
Good. Anything else?
We've got these bids for surplus equipment.
Oh, you did get some.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Not a lot.
Counselor, he earned his pay today.
What are these bids for?
We have to call
Surplus road and bridge equipment. We
Truck.
Put out,
Paper.
request for bids.
Letter opener?
You got the official opener?
I got it, the official opener.
We have one here also.
Yeah, we prefer him to use this kind because it's a little safer, but
It's old.
Jackie and Gary are the only ones really at risk. Poke you in the eye with that letter opener.
This one's from Mountain Valley Excavating, received Friday, August 30th.
And these are all within the deadline, right?
Mountain Valley Excavating, Ed Lyons. Address, phone number, etc., dated August 30, 2019. Submitting bid to Custer County Road and Bridge Department, surplus items for sale. Item number one, 1988 Peterbilt tractor, model 377, bid price $3,500, $3,500. Item number four, 1967 Coleman screen at the AP screening plant, and model 202 with a Ford 172 industrial gas engine, bid price $3,500. Item number five, 2001 BAC 30 by 60 stacker. I mean, this is all foreign language to me. VIM motor, Detroit 2-cylinder air-cooled diesel engine, bid price $4,000.
Conveyor belts, basically.
Okay.
Stacks it.
Those were the three items, or there's others, that's just the three he chose to bid on, would you guess?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a bid for the 1985 Ford F-250 from Chris Halpin. This is a bid offering for a 1985 Ford F-250. The bid will be $450. That's the bid from Chris Halpin for that item.
Pardon?
Does it run?
Yeah, it runs, it just uses TLC. It makes somebody good with it, but
Yeah, well,
just know that.
And finally, I have a bid from Rick Squire, dated August 29. Bid on item number one, 1988 Peterbilt tractor, model 377, $3,500.
3,000 what?
$3,500.
So we do with a tie, how do you break them? Cut it in half.
I have to tell them that there's another bid at the same amount and see if either one of them wants to bid more than that. Would be the way to handle this. Those are the only two bids on that particular item.
Let's finish up before we
And
get
that's,
mired down on that,
that's
unless
it.
that's it.
that's, and those are the three bids we had here.
And that, the last bid for that pickup, it was how much for that?
$450.
And that was from who?
Chris Halpin.
Oh,
Chris Halpin.
and then somebody else bid on it?
No.
No, nobody else bid on
Just
all
right,
that.
Pete
it's just-
was the only one.
Yeah,
that
Peter
bid
was the
on.
only one. The multiple
What else
bids.
wasn't bid on, was there, Ron?
Just a tire, balance or.
That was it?
What do you feel about the pickup? Let's start with that.
It sounds very new.
Based on his recommendation, I would move that we award the bid to Chris Halpin for the 1985 F-250 for $450. Moved and seconded to lift the bid for the pickup. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, discussion. Sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
You wanna refer to the bid from Ed Lyons on the other two? There weren't any other
The other
other
two
bids for
would be
those
the
other two.
67s, Coleman,
Item
screen.
4 and 5 that it lines bid.
Yeah, 4 and 5 is bid. I move we accept that bid.
Which one was that?
Both bids on 4 and 5 bid lines.
The screener and the.
Screener and the stacker.
And they were how much again?
35 and
3,500 and 4,000. 3,500 on the screening plant, 4,000 on the stacker.
Yes, that's fair.
Okay. I'll second the motion. You did, and I missed it.
He didn't.
No, I was gonna ask, but I heard you say you think those are reasonable prices?
That's more than I expected.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded to award the bid price of $3,500 for the screening plant to Ed Lyons along with the stacker, at a bid price of $4,000. Both those to Mountain Valley Excavating. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 So,
Okay. Opposed,
I
nay.
didn't
You
say
didn't
loud.
say
I didn't
aye,
say
you
very
whispered.
loud.
Motion carried. Now, to the Peterbilt, 1988 Peterbilt. I guess a couple of trains of thought that I had was, and I hesitated on the whole deal. I'm assuming it doesn't matter to Ed that it was a package deal. So, yeah, I think that'd probably be the cleanest way is to contact them both, huh?
Yeah, see if either one, just basically tell them it's a tie, don't tell them with who or anything else, and just see if either one of them wants to submit a bid in writing, for additional, maybe one of them will say, I don't wanna pay any more for it.
Yeah, and then they both do that, and that's entirely fine.
Yeah.
And just have them submit another sealed bid.
Some, just for that one, obviously,
Just between those two, we don't have to go back to the public.
right.
So, yeah, I would guess the other, I interrupted you, sorry, so I knew you were ready to speak. I was gonna say the other scenario would be to draw a name out of a hat. If they say, no, I wanna stay at 35, and they both say that,
Well,
then
then I
I'd say
think we do flip a
draw,
coin to draw a
flip a
name.
coin, and you might tell them that if you both decide to stay at 3,500, we don't have to tell them what the amount is, but
They
if
both
neither
know
one of you
it's a
wanna
tie.
resubmit, then we will flip a coin for drawing name out of the hat. I would think, I don't know how else we would solve that.
Well, the only other way you could do it, to be fair, would be to say, or if you do want, you have to submit a bid.
Well, that's what we're
Both,
saying.
I know, and so, but if one says I don't want it, the other one doesn't, and does that mean that you automatically get it for the 3,500?
Well, if one says he doesn't wanna bid anymore,
And his 3,500 stands.
Right.
And if the other one bids,
For 30, whatever, over that, then he would get the bid. If they both say, no, I want that to stand, then we'll,
flip it.
is that a good price for him, is that the 3,500 reasonable?
I wouldn't wanna take any less than that, but
Okay.
my thoughts are, if we didn't accept that, then if we wanted to take it to like the Ritchie Brother auction, for instance, they won't have another Denver auction, probably another year.
we haul.
And they'll probably get less for it.
And they may get less, so. No, I think the 3,500 is fair, huh?
Yeah, I could flip a coin now, I thought about that too, just making a decision today.
Well, it's maximized, I mean, my suggestion would be a maximum,
Yeah, I
somebody
think-
wants
I
to
think-
throw another $100 on the table or something.
You have to do that,
My comment,
to be fair.
I'm just a little concerned that we have a precedent previously set on how we handle a tie bid. And I think we're gonna follow whatever's been done in the past, if that's occurred, rather than have a different, I don't want anybody to come back and say, hey, when I did it, we did it a different way, and you like these two people, or whatever, this, friendliness there, so I'm
Well,
just
it hadn't
curious.
occurred while I've been a commissioner, so there's no precedence for me.
I've actually sold, I've never had this happen
Been here
on
since
it.
1891.
In the stuff that I've sold in the past.
You're gonna go backwards.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
I think we're okay.
I've been doing it 5 years, and I've never had a tie bid
Okay,
before.
then let's go ahead and open it back up for bids again. I mean, normal
Well-
auctions, that's what happens if there's a tie, the auctioneer just opens it up again.
Between the two, not opening it up.
That's
Right,
right.
just between the two.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll make contact with them.
And I'm
Tell
fine
them
pulling
exactly
it out
what
of
we
the hat.
discussed.
Yeah.
But it does have to be in writing.
Yes.
Yeah, so they can't.
If they're interested, and
We
then
can't
we
do
just
it.
table this until.
Yeah. That last one, yeah, the others.
So, maybe make it simpler too, that if it's above, then we've approved it for the $3,500, he can accept the high bid.
Well, we'll have to do it in the meeting, right, sealed bid.
I know,
We'll have
bring
to
it
go
in.
on record.
Right.
Well, sure.
He needs to come back in again.
Yeah,
Next
that's right,
month,
it is
right?
sealed, that's right.
Yeah. So if
You
you'll
can do
move
it
that
sooner than
forward.
that, if you wanted to get it on the agenda sooner, I mean, if you get these other sealed bids, we don't.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen very quick, we can do it wet more, just let me know, and I'll put it on the agenda.
That'd be nice if we can get
Yeah.
taken care of.
So, okay. Sweet.
I was just trying to save some time, it seems to me he could still accept it for the county.
Do we have
Authorized
Yeah,
it already.
Pardon?
Oh, I wondered about contact information.
Oh, yeah, maybe,
Doesn't
Karen,
take much time to do.
can you make, let's see,
Rick
copy
Squire
of the bid that's in
and
here and the copy that's been in here for
Mountain
him.
Okay, just one copy?
Yeah, just for Gary.
Okay.
And then I'll get home and add about the third.
And you can let Chris know, he's a winner on the truck.
Yeah, I'd say we can notify the successful bids.
Okay.
No problem. All right, so anything else?
That's it.
Okay, 10% fee off of that lot coming to the commissioners. Good.
The usual.
All right, sir, the usual, don't give me that. If it were true, I'd go along with it. All right, sir, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for coming in.
We need a break to get a cup of joe.
Do we have some donuts in?
No donuts.
I forgot my
I'm down
stuff.
5 pounds. Lady and gentlemen, could you tolerate about a 4-minute break? I know you've been waiting.
Patient.
With consent, then, gentlemen, we'll be in recess for about 4 minutes.
Are you stuck on that 4 minutes?
Yes.
You always say
Apparently.
something.
5 goes to 7,
Yeah.
or 8, or 10.
4 goes to 6.
We're good.
Yeah. Board Commissioner meeting will reconvene. Let the time show that, the record show that it's 10:08. Good morning, how are you?
Good. Did you guys get this?
Yes.
Yep. So, perfect.
Sure did. I can't
Yeah, well,
swear
it's
to
never
you
gonna
that I
get-
moved the dashboard to
Oh,
this
yeah, it sounds
packet,
nice.
but.
Okay. I'm
Not
sorry,
in
what?
person.
Say, I can't swear to you that I moved the dashboard to this packet. Where's me out?
The dashboard, and then they changed it because they didn't want red and green, because red looks so bad, and on, and they're changing how they're doing it, and it's just like,
And
Whatever.
we get every page orientation there is possible on the compass.
Hmm.
Although I haven't seen a left upside down yet, but, oh yeah, there it is, right there.
yeah,
Old age pension,
it's just,
not upside down, but oriented to the left. Go ahead, ma'am, how are we?
oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing, so I have this page first,
Yep,
you have
that's
that,
what we're
oh, okay, well, good, so we're all on the same page, oh, good. So, we're doing okay, if you look at the admin, we're doing fine, we're a little over on our A and D, just because we've had some people move in, but,
Foster care is under,
foster care is under that, I also.
or half.
Foster care is strange, and in January I want to change how I do this, because you guys don't really get a good idea what happens with foster care, because our out-of-home placements and, we're high because we've had kids in treatment centers and stuff. So we have an allocation, and that's decided by an allocation committee, but they always put money for small counties into a mitigation pool, because they know us picking up like 6 kids can kill our allocation big time. So I had to mitigate, and so I mitigated for almost 130,000 to cover that. We got that, and so it just does not reflect on this. But we did that, and so we're good on that, and so. Okay, they also have that for the TANF program, if we go over on that, but we're fine on TANF, so there's no issue there. And we're fine on daycare and all of that, so we're good to go. And then old age pension, that's all state, but that just shows you what we've done with that. And it's weird because it goes up and down because we move them out of one category to another category, or somebody starts getting Social Security, which drops their payments. So we can still have the same number of payments, but the dollar amounts can be different.
Where you drop out.
Or you drop out or something, so it makes it look weird.
These payments, your office prints these checks and mails them, or do they come from the state?
No, it goes on the card.
Okay.
It either goes direct deposit into an account, or it goes onto the
Debit,
card.
okay.
We used to, way back when, we had to handwrite the checks. We don't do that anymore. Yeah. We do have to track, they send out a thing just so that we can see if people, they do one death benefit, if somebody passes away, just stuff that so we can track and see what's going on with them and make sure everything's fine, but that's just a report we get. LEAP, we don't have anything going on, it will be starting soon. Rhonda goes to a LEAP training sometime in September.
So nothing in August?
Nothing in August, it won't start up until, you won't see a payment until November. Medicaid transportation, it's up and down, just depending on how many trips that people are making.
And who we using?
And we use anybody. As long as they have Medicaid, we will reimburse them. We can do private cars, we do the Rotary, there's also that, what's that thing?
Oh, Medicare, something thing up here.
Minivan, we'll do that, whatever.
Yeah, I saw that up here.
Yeah, we will reimburse
Okay.
whatever.
So what's the cap on this, 100%?
We get it from the state, and it's whatever, we don't,
So you just keep submitting and you don't know what the limit is?
nope,
Really?
there's, as far as we know, there's no limit.
Wow.
Yeah, we just, we just submit it and they reimburse us for it. We had trouble with that system where we sent in for the reimbursements last week. She could get 4 of them in, and then it would go down. and then if she wait 2 or 3 hours, and she get another 4 in, and then it would go down. Then the next day, we went in, and it was fine, and we got them all through, so systems are weird. And then, our CSVG, I didn't have any in the month of July. I have some in August, but they won't show up yet. But we got our allocation on that.
I know I've asked you this before, generally what does Colorado State Block Grant pay for?
It's community service, block grant, and we use it for emergencies like rent, utilities, we can do eyeglasses, we can do, we can also help sometimes with like, if somebody has a water heater and it needs to be replaced, something like that, we can do that. We can do prescriptions if they don't have Medicaid and they can't afford prescriptions.
And you do write checks for those?
We do write
I've
checks,
signed
you
those,
sign
yeah.
those, yes, we do write checks for those. Energy outreach, we have a little bit of money left in that, not too much, but we're gonna start up again. Submitted the grant, we were awarded, money. I go in September for after we just get together and they still do not tell me how much money we're gonna get. They don't tell me until I actually get the check. I don't know, it's a big secret.
It's been up and down 2 years.
Yeah, it's.
Generally running 8,000.
Yeah, it's been going down a little bit, and so they've lowered the amount that we can even pay as a maximum amount, because they upped the amount of the leak. That's what they did last year, so I don't know what they're gonna do this year. I guess I have to just wait and see.
I talked to some people in Buena Vista, their average price for propane's $1.35.
Really?
We're what? Between 58 and 70? $1.58, $1.70, I don't know, I haven't checked lately.
I don't know, I just talked to Margas in Pueblo, and they told me their propane was $1.99 a gallon.
What did you say?
$1.35.
Cheap.
So I don't know.
I don't know why.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know why that.
Yeah.
Good news, huh?
Yeah.
Good news. And then our TPAB. Our TPAB numbers have been down. I think it's summertime. We have people who are working and start seeing the numbers of TPAB come in. And then we haven't had a whole lot of TPAB food come in either. So maybe that's gonna increase. I'm not sure. Hopefully that will increase. We'll see what happens with that. Let's see, yeah, so the CS, or Energy Outreach, yeah, I have a meeting for that, so. One of our things that we got going on is in child welfare. We have kids, all the kids that we have in placement have to see, or we require, first of all, to see them every month. And the second thing is they have to have visits with the parents. And so we are doing a lot of visits, and so we are, we're having a lot of mileage because we're having to travel. We're also we have now kids in Colorado Springs where we have to have the visit up in the springs, so our mileage is racking up. So I'm thinking we should be okay, but I'm still working on that.
If we were to try to procure a vehicle for DHS, can we get any help from the state?
Here's the thing about that, is that I actually have some money, that would be no county money involved in this at all, to do that, and that's what we're really looking at. And I may do it sooner, but, because it's not really in my budget to do it this year as far as that, but for next year for sure. So what we would be doing, insurance, plates, well, I don't know how that goes, but we'll be doing.
That might work with you.
Yeah, I don't know, you're shady like that, I don't know. But then we would still charge mileage to the state, because then that comes, we get some reimbursement back. Fremont County just bought a few vehicles, so I'm gonna work with them on how they did that, because we have to code this off to the state so we can get reimbursed for all of this stuff.
Including the price of the vehicle, or no?
No, but there's no county
State
fund.
won't help.
But there's no county fund, because those funds that I'm gonna use to buy that vehicle are funds that come from, if we collect child support while we have kids in placement, or if we collect, parental fees, it's almost the same thing. But If it's a two-parent household, we charge them so much to have kids in placement. If it's a one-parent household or two, separated, then we charge each one of them child support for that. And when this started years ago, counties that did not have a whole lot going on, or kids in placement, anytime we get any money for that, we get to keep it all. So over the years, it's been, and we use it for different things, and it can only be used for, so I can't say that with my braces, but certain things, so we're going to say it that way.
Specific.
Thank you.
Yep.
Things, and it has to be kind of approved. And then one of them, it's for family preservation. And because we are using this vehicle to go do visits, it fits right in there.
So, would that be a county-owned vehicle then, or is it gonna be,
It'd be a county-owned vehicle. Yes, it would be.
so we need to approve that?
You're gonna have to approve that, and so we're gonna try to figure out,
Who buys the insurance and then the county policy?
yeah, I guess so. It would be under the county policy, how you do for like Jackie and JD and all of those. The sheriff's department, I guess, it would come underneath that. And so that stuff, Jen, I'm gonna need to talk to you guys about, how we go about that, doing that. I don't know if I should talk to Don about that, we want to talk to you about that. Who does
Yeah,
that?
I mean, the
Who does
insurance
that?
would be done.
Done.
We would end up obviously making a decision to cover that vehicle in our policies,
Mhm.
she knows, and that's the whole thing. Where's this at on the priority scale, 1 to 10?
We'd like to get it done sooner than later.
This fall?
Just because we're just running up and down, all the time.
This fall get better.
It's not right to ask your employees to use the private
And
vehicles.
sometimes we're having to do multiple visits at the same time. So we've got somebody going over here, we got somebody going over here, and we're still gonna have that problem, but they're not gonna be having to use their vehicles.
What kind of vehicle are you looking at, a van, transport?
We're looking at
kids?
something that can hold 6 kids. We have 6 kids right now, and so we're looking at, we had a list, I didn't bring it with me, but,
Like a Tahoe.
well, we looked at some of them, but, Toyota Highlander will hold 6, well, I think holds like 7. And then, I think Chevy Traverse or something, we have a list about 4 of them.
So you're looking at a driver plus 6 passengers?
Right,
And would you typically haul 6 kids at a time?
hopefully not,
But
but
if
we.
you have a family of 6,
But
there you
we
go.
picked up 6 kids, and so.
One family.
In one family,
Yeah.
we had this years ago, Linda and I, we picked up 6 kids and we had to take them to Pueblo West to a foster home. She had to take 3, I had to take 3 because they don't have anything that's big enough to hold that. So we're trying to, thinking if we get something big enough and if we end up with 8 kids, hopefully not, we're gonna still have a problem. But
But
we're
you're gonna
trying
cover
to, we're trying
90%
to
of it.
do more than hold 2 kids or, so that's why we're looking at bigger kids.
And
Bigger vehicles.
any special driver's license to haul these?
No, they're
State
just
children.
big SUVs and, no, there's no special driver's license. The insurance may be a little bit more because we're having kids in there, so that's something that I'm gonna find out from other counties that have vehicles on what they're doing with that. But
Well-
Fremont County just did it, so they bought 2 or 3 of them.
Sounds to me like something that long overdue for you to.
Yeah, cause we do, we're just, and before it wasn't that big of a deal, but man, we're
Well,
on
it's
the
not a
road
money issue,
constantly.
I'd say we ought to jump on it.
Just this morning, Tish had to go down to Wetmore, pick up a kid, bring it in, have a visit with Dad,
With their own vehicle.
with her own vehicle.
So it's almost an unwritten deal, if you're gonna hire somebody in your office, they have to have a vehicle, that's not right.
That is a mandatory thing that we have to find out, do you have a vehicle?
Wow.
Do you have insurance on, or, that type of stuff?
And do you reimburse them the IRS amount,
We
55 and a half cents?
reimburse them at whatever the county
County's
is.
54.
That's what we reimburse them at.
Okay.
And some of the counties will, some of the counties, even though they have county vehicles, the workers still wanna take their own vehicles. And I go, well, whatever, because they want that reimbursement check, not me. I can have another vehicle and I'm not putting the wear and tear on my car.
Well, I'd say if that county vehicle's available, then that
It
takes
needs,
priority. Doesn't matter what they want.
Yeah,
If they
but-
buy a vehicle, they need to use it.
oh no, not our people. Our people are going, get a vehicle if we can.
Okay,
So,
I would move forward with that.
yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
yeah, we were working on it and then kind of everything to a standstill, but we're gonna look at these vehicles and see and decide what we wanna do, and, yeah, we'll probably have to get you.
Get a good year-end deal on last year's model.
Well, see, that's another thing, that's what I thought of too, because they're clearing those old vehicles, or the last vehicles out and stuff.
They've had
So-
some hailstorms.
And so you can get some deals,
Get some pretty good deals.
Okay.
yeah.
Very good.
So,
We'll
I'll let
put
you
it
know
out for
about
bid,
that.
obviously, but,
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
sorry, yeah.
Seriously? Yeah. Okay, well, you just, let me know how we do that.
Yeah, well, if you come, if you can make a decision on what vehicle you want,
Okay,
then that tells us what we need to do.
oh, okay.
She's not spending county
I'm
money.
not spending county money at all.
For a
She
bid.
doesn't.
No, but it's gonna be a county-owned vehicle.
Yeah, but the
I'm
money.
gonna ask.
Cause you can get,
Why don't-
you can get a
if
vehicle
if you
gifted
tell
to
us
you,
it's
you
not
have to put it
necessary,
out.
that's
for
Yeah.
great, but my
Once you
feeling
get
is,
to the
I'm
county.
kinda with Tom, if it's gonna be a vehicle that we're going to, insure, and
Mhm.
we're gonna be the maintenance on it, whether we buy it or not, I mean,
If
makes-
somebody wanted to give you one, you wouldn't do it.
Well, yeah, then it's, that's a
Well,
whole
if that's what
different
she's
deal,
doing, it's
gifted,
different
but-
pot of money, it's not a county deal.
let's look into that.
I will find out.
Whatever's appropriate is what we wanna do,
Yeah, I
that's
will
all.
find out from, I'm gonna go to the directors meeting, this month.
Good.
And there'll be a few of the directors there that have county vehicles, and I will find out what they do and how they do it.
That's
And,
good.
and whatever they do, we'll assume it's correct.
Yeah,
So-
and Dave, and I know like Fremont County, they're not using the pot of money that I have. They're using,
I got this rainbow coming down and some leprechauns around this pot of money. I guess 'cause I watched Notre Dame football
Yeah.
last night.
but
Really?
what they're using is they're charging, they get an allocation, for example, long-term care. And long-term care has to go out and do visits and stuff, and they get money for that. So they're using some of their long-term care money to offset that. See, I don't have that because we don't, our long-term care stuff is handled by Fremont County. So they're using different little pots of money that they're buying these vehicles with. Now me, I just have this one that's state-owned, but that's not state-owned, but it's
Okay.
money. So there's no county money in this thing at all. So it's a little bit different, but I will find out.
Okay, and we'll go along with
Yeah.
whatever. I'm excited.
But
to
I
figure out the
understand,
opportunity
but I
to get
understand
one.
what you're saying still, but I will find out exactly. So it's a little bit different. But-
Okay.
But okay, all
Very
right.
good, thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you much.
Coming
Wonderful to
in.
see you.
Yeah.
Can't wait to
You
do it.
cleanse
Good,
for your expertise.
It may be wrong, but it was expert.
No, well, there you
Hey,
go.
say hi to.
Next
I will.
item,
I
VSO.
will.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Sorry for the delay.
Good morning, sir, how are you?
How's things going, sir?
Mighty spry today.
Oh, trying. So, biggest thing that I did for this month was last week, 4 days of training for the Colorado Division of Veteran Affairs. That's their annual training. I did get my initial certification with them, and I'll be working on the paperwork as far as my accreditation through CDVA. The Veterans Trust Fund distribution has been going on. We've distributed about $5,000 through August, doing free buys for propane and firewood and things like that. As far as some upcoming things, the National Commander of the American Legion is coming to Westcliff on October 7th at 7 p.m. at Lang Hall. And I'm no longer the commander of the American Legion, but I did ask that Carol Kennedy is commander again. I did ask that we make the meeting open to all veterans. There's going to be a dinner beforehand, but the meeting itself will be open to all veterans. And you three, of course, are invited as well. I'm hoping we'll get some good information, not just on American Legion stuff, but he has the finger on veterans issues throughout the country.
October 7th at what time?
7 p.m. at Lang Hall.
So the potluck or something, how's the meal being?
I want to say they're doing spaghetti or something like that. I haven't followed it too much.
Donations being accepted?
I'm
Don't know
not
yet.
sure on that one. Basically, I've kind of just taken a hands-off approach on American
Cause that's Legion doing it, not your office.
Not my office, but I wanted to make sure that it was open to all veterans, cause I think there's gonna be some important information.
Thank you.
I will be unavailable.
The Veteran Trust Fund regular distribution is gonna start next Monday. We have, I believe, $77,000 for Custer County, this year. I have gotten a lot of offers for food, donations for the dry good, food bank that I have downstairs. The question I'd like to ask, I've had an offer for a freezer donated. I don't know if there's any legal issues as far as us giving out frozen food versus dry goods. If there's no issues, then
I would just make sure that whatever you give out, it's not beyond the expiration date on the labels and hasn't thawed and refrozen. You know, just common sense.
Common
I'm
sense.
not gonna have an issue with it. I know that gentleman here.
okay. So we'll start working on that, and other than that, I mean, it's just been kind of business as usual as far as new claims and appeals. But moving forward into the winter, it looks like we're gonna be able to help a lot of veterans with the Veterans Trust Fund. And
That's just wonderful.
it's a good program, and I'm glad the VFW is taking lead on that. And basically, the only thing my office does is just verification of veteran status. And then, as far as the food donations, everyone has agreed that if someone comes into my office and they need food,
Go downstairs and get it.
I'll take them downstairs. I may need to put shelves upstairs just because having a disabled veteran walk down the stairs to pick out food is not a good idea. So I'll work on that.
I'll go ahead and move that we accept the VSO report for August 2019.
And I'll second it.
And move the second to accept August BSO report, discussion, public comment. Hearing none, proceed to vote, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye, opposed nay, motion carries.
How long have you been
At this
here
job,
at this job?
March 12th.
Thank you.
What's the total number of veterans you got?
In my office, I don't have an exact number. I think I counted it one day as far as my actual files, but it was, I think it was 370 in my office, but that is not anywhere close to total veterans in this county alone. The problem with the numbers in my office is a lot of them, I do get veterans from other counties coming here. We have Fremont County, their VSO is retiring, and, the VFW is trying to pick up the slack, so I do get veterans from here, I get them from South, I get them down from Pueblo. A lot of the VSO offices, all they do is just paperwork, so I think some people come here so they can get a little additional to that.
Okay, very good. All right, sir, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Keep up the
Tony, you looking for attainable housing?
Yeah, 26, how about you?
Let me check.
Go to the third floor upstairs and you'll.
There's a third floor? Okay.
Okay, O-E-M.
Hello. How's it going?
Good morning.
Good morning.
OEM/transitional officer. We appreciate your time that
Yeah.
you've given to Miss Kara. I don't want that to go without being
Thanks.
said. Thank you.
It's been good.
Good.
Chore, but good.
Yeah. She's doing great. Hard to work with. Terrible actually. It's been really good. Also it's been interesting trying to switch back to that too. So we learned together at one point. It was fun. So yeah, in between all of that, I'm trying to square some things up still. With that, Homeland Security, you were asking about that earlier, right? So next year's the 2020 budget, we'll put in the coroner's vehicle within the Homeland Security grant budget line within OEM. Then the county match of that. and then the 2018 Homeland Security grant, that was the security fence for the sheriff's
Right.
office. I think had their final invoices for that, just like the electric for it, and so, just do all the symbols for that one.
Close them out, huh?
Yeah. And then one thing I need to start pushing for Posse and MRC to spend money. There's still some training money and materials, supplies and stuff for MRC and also the VIPS, which is the Posse. And so I think, from my understanding, is when they put it in, they had very detailed how they're gonna spend it, and so just kind of when Posse switched people that were in charge, I forget the gentleman's name now. Anyway, so we just have to kind of structure that.
Does it have to be spent, don't lose it?
Yeah.
When's the deadline?
We should try and close it out this year for it.
October, end of October, or the first, or is it
Just
the end of
the
December?
December, yeah. I'm just trying to figure that one out. I'll get with them, talk through that. The Q2 report for the or reimbursement. At first, I was unsure if we were gonna get the reimbursement just because of a lot of the report was so Cindy signed off on that report. It was a lot of postponed due to staffing changes and things like that. So Kristen and I were like kind of unsure if they're gonna reimburse that, but we haven't heard anything negative on that side. So I think we're good. And then that's just like all the money stuff so far. Anything, just working on the budget, finalizing some stuff today and tomorrow for next year's budget. And then just got a lot random different things done this month. Really excited, we drafted the ESF, the emergency support function for ESF 8, public health and medical services. So I got together with Alyssa and Cindy Flower and talked through in general that ESF, kind of how we're gonna work together and that kind of stuff. So that was really good. Started drafting the ESF 7, the resource management, and so how as a county you're gonna order all the resources, that process in stone before the thing happens. I went to a hazard mitigation planning refresher, which was really good. So as a county we have a hazard mitigation plan. It's to date for like 5 years, but I think ours is going to go out in 2 years. And so the good thing about that plan is it opens up a whole lot of funding after something happens, and so like a lot of money. And so there's problems though if we don't have it up to date, then we just lose out buckets of money. Something happens. So I'll budget 1,000 in next budget for 2020, and then 2021 budget 3,000, and that's for a contract to write, like a contract for them to write it. I did kind of research on how that would work if as a county we wrote the plan and redid it ourselves. One, I think, was it Gunnison County EM tried to write it. They have a 2-person shop. They could barely do that. Pueblo tried it. They're never gonna do that again, is what I've been told. And so from the research I've done, it's better to do the contract to write it. And it's gonna be less because we have it already written. It's just gonna be some updates to be done with that. So that would be just a heads up for that, for the budget. The CS meeting was good. We talked through the public health, the South Region public health people came in and we talked through some capabilities that we have as a community and where we stand and some training points that we should work on. So that gave some good structure out of that conversation. We talked about mass casualty planning. And so in the beginning of October, I think it's the there's a mass casualty planning training. So we'll do that and then get together in our stakeholder group and iron out a good plan. And then I want to build off that and do a tabletop exercise and maybe even a functional exercise. Maybe we can get like Sky Ranch, Horn Creek, some camps or something to maybe use some other people as part of it. Cause that's kind of a big worry. The I-25 crash with the school, bus a month or so ago. Captain Smith from State Patrol emailed me an after action of that and just talked about how he's been worried for years now, especially all the charter buses that come to the camps around. So that's gonna be a big push. And we have some buy-in from the different responding groups now, so that's really good. So we're just gonna push with that. I don't think there's anything else pretty major, other than just doing some tweaking of plans and updating that needs to happen, contact lists and things like that. I decided I won't be attending the LEPC conference this week. I'm gonna have Ruth Roper go still, but there's just a lot still to be done, and I think my use of time would better served in doing those things instead of the conference. Well, it's good information and good networking and things.
Do it again.
Yeah, it's every year, so, and there's another conference, I think, beginning next year, so won't be really missing out too much, I don't think. Oh, and I guess the other big push would be ESF 11, the ag plans for disaster. We get together with Windermere since the fair is done and kind of regroup on that. And then just trucking along in the different deliverables for the grant.
Letter to CDOT.
Yes. So every time we have rain, Hardscrabble just washes out and have to close down a main in and out for the county for a couple hours. I think second to last or last time, sheriff and some of the deputies were out on the road themselves shoveling rocks out of the way to open it up. So I was really hoping that we could, different agencies in the county, write a letter or whatever you guys would think would be best approach in requesting some mitigation efforts on Highway 96, especially down Hardscrabble Way, because it washes out and we have to close that down. In July it closed down. We had 2 medical calls that happened within the road being closed down. One was so bad that we had to call flight, so we didn't have to worry about that traveling time. But
I had heard
that's
that
on.
CDOT was gonna try to do something.
Yeah.
Have you checked with
No,
what their plan
but
is?
from my
We need to understand
understanding,
they have to.
that they didn't have anything planned for that area.
Yeah, but it's been, but that's probably true, but maybe since then, maybe
Right.
things have changed. I heard that. Somebody that brought it up that had been talking with them, I can't remember why.
Yeah. But even if they do have it planned, maybe they, still
out
some,
when,
and still some letters could maybe
Sure.
reinforce the need that is there. So I talked to Alyssa Lyman and she said that she would be happy to, with public health, I'll draft one, but if y'all would do that as well.
If you would be kind enough to give us a copy of either
Sure.
yours or Alyssa's or both.
Give both.
And just
so
have
we
the
can kind of
same.
dovetail off
Definitely.
that. I think
Yeah.
it's probably you, Road and Bridge, but I think
Yeah.
we should do that.
Yeah.
I agree.
That'd be
Thank
awesome.
you.
And then I think the only thing we have the award letter for the EMPG grant for this year. So we have that 36,000. And we need to sign it.
Is it federal or state grant?
It's federal that's passed through state and then it's
Wonderful.
so
Other than that,
very
you're not
last
doing
page is
anything,
for the
right?
signature. What's that?
Other than that.
Yeah, other than all of that, I'm just yawning in my days.
Yawning.
I don't know, historically, I know on the last one I signed, I wasn't
Mhm.
sure if we needed to have a motion to sign that. I suppose we should, really.
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Uh,
I'll go ahead and move that we sign the letter of acceptance of the Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPJ.
Move seconded to sign the EMPG grant for 2020. Discussion. Public comment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Thank you, appreciate it. I just would like to err on the
Doesn't hurt.
side of.
That's exactly right. It doesn't hurt to do it, but it could be a problem if we don't do it, so let's do it.
You know, if some reason we couldn't meet a deliverable, they come back and say, hey, you guys signed the grant, and you two could say, wait a minute, we never talked about that. Yay, who signed it, but we never bought in on the deal, so.
Is that your new name?
I know that would never
Is that
happen.
farm, is that another farm term?
It's cowboy term, yay, who, thank you, ma'am.
Clear the deck or whatever
Anything
it
else?
was.
I think I've just to add, just so you know, I've restructured some deliverables within the grant. Whether it's some like the mash novelty rather than the tabletop that was planned before, just because there's some efforts within the agencies instead of trying to create some urgency. There's already urgency there, so I'm just going on with it. So I talked to Chrissy Coleman about it. She said, yeah, whatever, as long as there's documentation to prove it. So.
Yeah, I know last year we got into a request to do a deliverable for somebody else,
Correct.
so.
Yes. So.
Good.
Any questions from you?
What's the M?
What's that?
AMPG,
Emergency management
preparedness.
All right, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for waiting, appreciate it.
Yep, good job.
Thanks for helping us.
Yeah, definitely.
Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, wait, no?
I move we adjourn. Take that
P
back.
and Z off until.
Yeah, planning and zoning next
January.
up.
Hey guys.
Good morning.
Most people come with 1 or 2 pages of documents.
We already hugged earlier, so.
Oh, you did, so you've gotten through
That
all
was
that.
at breakfast.
Okay. Oh, at breakfast. Who bought?
That's some video you gave me.
I couldn't watch it on mine.
I haven't watched it yet, but. All right, ma'am.
Thank you, Jackie.
Only what's necessary. No more 25-page documents for your staff report.
It's just in case somebody walks up on you and says, I got this letter.
And I'll remember out of the 23 that's in there.
We need a press release about storage containers and presents. Really, there ought to be a
Okay.
big article in the paper.
Jackie, would you?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I was thinking that, and also I was thinking when we get done, we'll talk about our press release, cause we have other issues that are
Okay.
pending.
Where would you like to start?
Hammer it home.
Okay, so the first thing is your SUP that you rescinded the motion for the airport. Remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so now, the planning commission has actually looked at the SUP July 1st and agreed to it. So you need to make a motion that you agree again to the SUP for the airport, and then we need to send it to Kelly to get recorded.
And I
Do
move
we have a copy of it?
accept the permit.
And this is an SUP for what? It's a
SUP.
use permit for the airport to do, remind me, I'm just.
Okay, the
I
SUP
remember we did it, I just
was,
didn't know what it was.
It's the
They were
update.
cleaning up the original because we had to change, authority
The
to
name and other
advisory,
things
and then they took out some stuff. So you should have the original and then the new one.
Updated.
Because you made a motion on it, then you had to rescind the motion, remember?
I remember that, but I'm trying to remember what the SUP covered.
Okay, the SUP covers everything you can do at the airport.
Okay, well, let's take a little breath here for a minute, because you're asking us to vote on something we don't have in front of us. It's not
So
an
if-
advisory
if-
board, it's the airport board.
So,
So hold on just a
let's see, we did that July 1st, so it's gotta be
Did that.
June.
September 19, let's see, July the 1st.
And what
July
was-
1st, the planning commission, voted to approve it, then it comes back on you, but June, you guys rescinded the motion because you approved it before the planning commission looked at it.
Right.
I remember that incident, but I'm really still, I'm sorry, I slept since.
No, that's all right. So here's the one that was
Forward
approved.
it is.
I can,
Just wanna make sure the document I've got lines up with this one. Page 312, or book 312, 197.
This is a SUP for the operation of the airport,
yes, sir.
and what did they change from the one that was previously in place?
It was an authority
And I'm Jay.
board and.
Oh, changing it from the board.
To a
From the
airport
advisory
authority
to the
to a board.
Okay, so we just changed the name?
And they cleaned up some of the language.
I remember now, I'm sorry.
I can
Part,
go,
some of it had to do with the signs.
And the signage
I remember,
heights
I remember.
I don't know when
and
you-
penalties.
and penalties were updated, and I
I
don't
don't
think
know
it had
when you
anything to
get
do
it,
with
but
the
I can
rest.
send it to you.
Thank you.
The email was June 7th, it was an
I
attachment.
I remember it's in the mist.
But that's
out
been a
there.
while, I found it on my desk too, so you're not the only one, it's like, oh. So if you're good to go on it again, we could, not we, when I say we, I mean you, do a motion to accept the special use permit.
Amended as.
I will make a motion to accept the special use permit as reviewed and amended by the planning commission, or the recommendation I gave.
Today, first thing on her staff report.
I will second.
Been moved and seconded, so you're causing a little consternation here. Moved and seconded to approve the amended SUP for the airport board as presented by planning and zoning, correct? Discussion? Only because you caught us unaware.
Right. I
That's all.
didn't read it,
Had your pile of documents included this?
I would have read it.
Wasn't it in your agenda, Jackie? I thought I saw it. Maybe I saw something else. Whatever
So,
you-
before we vote, just because I'm not that swift. We approved it, and it hadn't been approved by the planning and zoning, so we said, oops, we made a mistake, so we rescinded it, sent it back to them. Nothing has changed, they just approved, now it's coming back to us just so the procedure is proper.
That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was right.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're just
that-
getting the procedure right.
And
I'm
the
fine,
motion
I'm
was
fine with that.
presented
Procedure
by
is very important.
planning and zoning.
Okay, I'm good.
Further discussion, hearing none, proceed to vote. Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of approving the amended SUP for the airport, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Will you record that and please give me a copy?
No signatures or dates of that
Maybe
action.
report in the future, we do something like this, I feel like I got caught with my pants down, I mean, I wasn't
There's another image I don't want.
Yeah.
in the shower with my pants down, I was thinking about it now.
Yeah, so
I'm
the
sorry.
first paragraph in her
Yeah,
report
extremely.
indicated that we'd be talking about that. I
Right.
just got by me and I did not look it up, I'm sorry.
Okay, so moving on September 19th, the airport board is meeting again, so I will be attending that meeting. I'm sending out a hangar lease document, to a gentleman who owns a hangar, and he has said that he does not want the lease anymore. It does not have a hangar on it, a hangar
Just the
building,
land.
it's just the site. That's a $768 lease a year that they'll be losing in October.
What hangar number is it, you remember?
Number 3. And, what will happen is, along with the renew, sends out a letter that they have to sign that says, they have to sign the letter saying we do not wanna renew this. I'm also gonna speak with them about their ground leases. Mr. Naylor and all of us had sat down and did this ground lease. And then it also says in the ground lease that the lease will be, I'm gonna give everyone at the airport a blank ground lease and see if they'd like it. Plus, every 5 years, the ground lease needs to be determined to see if 12 cents a square foot is adequate. So I'll be going to the airport board the 19th, give them the recorded SUP, give them a blank ground lease, plus the cost of their group.
You just want their recommendation and see what you'll bring to us.
I would, they need to review it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing the 19th. Bumblebee storage, if you notice, is in your letters. This is an ongoing situation. If you notice, we wrote him a letter. I wrote him a letter and then I sent it to the attorney, Mr. Smith, who's present, and he cleaned up the letter.
I see him. So this was a letter that went out to him.
And that's the first letter in your
Bumblebee
bundle.
is Bill Good.
No.
Who's
No,
I forgot.
Bloomfield.
Oh.
No response.
As of now, no. But he is actually, further things will have to be, done with this, as you noticed in the letter.
Just the one they were living in or something was going on.
No, it's just the storage units behind Shadow Ridge.
Yeah, I know where it is.
No one's living in it.
I thought there was an issue with something, but.
No.
Oh.
He just hasn't done his conditions. He, at one time, he, was ill, and so we allowed him a grace period, and then,
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's pretty well spelled out in the letter.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that's not spelled out in the letter. September 26th comes and goes and nothing's happened, then what are you prepared to do? We've been around the bases once already.
September 26th comes and we see no forward motion. He shouldn't have started business of renting them out before the conditions were
So
met.
your second sentence says all conditions must be met before you open for business.
So September 26th,
Implies
he might have customers already renting those storage units. So I don't know legally how many weeks we have to, or days we have to give someone to remove their stuff
I
from.
think that's his problem, not ours. If he's in violation of it, we didn't make leases with the people who leased his containers. I remember this very closely when we worked on this a year or more ago, and we were giving him total latitude because he was ill, and we were being Mr. Nice Guys here, you included, I don't know, but you know what I mean. The county was being supportive of someone who wasn't ill, who wasn't well. I think that's between him and his renters. And obviously you wanna get legal counsel on this, but my opinion would be that's your problem. You breached our contract, you no longer have an SUP with us, and you work it out with your renters. That would be my opinion, but I kinda get, and I'm not trying to be a hard guy about this, but when we give someone, as long as we did, to get this in compliance, and he basically thumbed his nose at us, my opinion is it's time to take action, assuming in your letter he doesn't follow through. If he follows through, I'm fine. That's just my opinion.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah, that's a legal opinion.
Yeah, my feeling is that certainly I agree with Commissioner Prince. If we mean what's in this letter, if we're gonna require him to put strips in that fencing and so on and so forth, then we mean it. If those are mild suggestions, then that's different. But if you're ready to drive a stake in the ground on this deal, I think we're ready to move forward with you.
Well, I think you suspend the SUP permit immediately at that point and give him.
Why don't we suspend it now? Look how recent.
He's already mailed this deadline on the 26th.
Well, did you already mail this letter? Oh, yeah, you did.
So.
But he has to, give him time for his
Right.
tenants to get
Right.
their stuff out of.
And I think certainly been operating a business. I mean, some of those containers have padlocks on them, and have had for some time.
I agree, I've been out
Which
there.
means to me, he's renting them out. I've driven out there 2 or 3 times, so.
It's hitting 3 years to do.
All conditions must be met before you open for business. I would maintain he's probably already open for business, but.
We asked, it's already said.
Pardon?
He has
Continue,
been
yeah.
open for a while.
So, I'm just asking, when September 26th comes along, then I assume the next commissioner meeting, if these conditions aren't met, you're gonna come to us and want us to suspend that SUP. Is that correct?
And we'll lock the gate.
No gate?
Would it be worth having another letter saying, just a reminder, if you
No.
don't meet the conditions we
No.
set forth?
Well, he just got this one, right? You just mailed this.
23rd is when she's got it.
And he gets it certified and a non-certified. Time's up.
And I appreciate what you're saying, Bill,
Just to
but
kick him in
my
the, make sure he
feeling
knows.
is he's had well over a year to come into compliance. We gave him every benefit of the doubt because he wasn't well. And we need to take a stand and say, we're just not gonna roll over every time someone says, I'm not well. I mean, I feel for the man, cause I know for a fact he's not well. That's not the issue.
He's in business.
The issue is he's in business, he needs to comply with our
Okay.
regulations, and if he doesn't, he needs to either be out of business until such time he comes in,
Yeah.
or he needs to be out of business. That's my opinion, and I'm not trying to be a hard guy about this, but it's appropriate.
No, and he got it August 31st, 2017.
That's what I'm saying, it's a year.
So, thanks for the
It's 2
update.
years, Jim.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, the rest are just letters.
Letters.
And letters.
And letters.
Okay, so I agree with the, notice to the newspaper. I would also like to add something else, so we'll go on, and then you'll see, and we'll see if it's appropriate. Okay, so it come to my attention that, a house with a bunkhouse was being sold on, a 5-acre parcel. The people that were interested in purchasing it was doing their due diligence, and they decided that they would like to take the bunkhouse and run water to it, and also rent it out. Well, they actually called Division 2 Water, so I got a call from Division 2 Water that says, no, your well permit is for your residence, which is your primary residence, so you cannot run water to your bunkhouse on 5 acres or less. But you can have a bunkhouse on your property with bedrooms unless you have a flushing toilet and plumbing. The plumbing code now is tied to the septic code. So you have to have one flushing toilet and have a plumbing permit, but you can have water, but you could haul the water, but in our regs, you cannot rent, let, or lease a bunkhouse. So now we have an issue with these people getting bunkhouses on less than 35 acres and running a water to them plus another septic system. So in October, I would like to have a workshop, and I'll get the date set with Jerry Livengood explaining what has been going on, that now that water has become an issue, now we're gonna have to look through what we've been allowing as a county, because you can't say water this and then we're allowing something else. So it is if you have a 1972 or prior well, then you don't have to worry about your water. But so now we got the bunkhouse issue. So in October, we will be having a workshop, hopefully with Jerry Livengood, and I would, float around a couple of dates, and I would like all 3 of you to attend, because I think we all need to be on the same page.
Am I invited to?
Of course.
I thought that went without saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, right.
Because I'm all forward.
Can I ask a question about what you just said? we have regulations against it on the 5 acres. Do we have any that are currently in operation that we allowed?
Yes.
Oh, this is a problem.
Okay, so here's the deal. When the state redid their septic regs about 7 years ago, then they redid them about 4 years ago. They were called ISDSs, Individual Septic Disposal Systems. Then when they redid the regs, they called them outs. Okay, so prior to me coming on board, the prior administrator gave out 110 ISDS variances. That allows you to live in your dwelling or on your property with a chemical portable toilet. The state said no more about 5 years ago. So I sent out a letter to everyone saying, nope, you can't do this anymore, you have to install a septic system. A lot of people complied, and I bet you I'm down to 25 of them. So this is what's going out now. This is your final out. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And
So I wanted to keep you a heads up on that. This is all the property in Custer County who people are living on that do not have a septic, but they do have a variance. And the variance was, legal. Let me show you what I
was there a time
did.
limit on the variance?
Pardon?
Was there a time limit on the variance?
Yes, but no one paid attention to. Here's a house that doesn't have a septic system. And has a
Oh,
variance.
really?
Okay.
So what goes on
So they
is.
have a porta potty down there?
Uh-huh, so what goes on is, this one might not be, yes, this
How long
one's
is, what's
bad.
the time limit on it?
Well, this variance was taken out in the, I don't know when that one was actually taken out, I
Is it
got a
like
whole
years
list
or
of-
months?
Yeah, years. So I got a list of all the variances that was handed out, the state saying, nope, that's not happening,
Handed out by the county.
yes.
What does that
So-
mean? The state said it's not happening, they have to all come in and put a septic
You
system
cannot
in
live
now?
in any structure without a flushing toilet. I don't care if you have
Whether there's a variance or not, they
The
have
way
to.
the state does not allow counties to give variances.
And they're not gonna grandfather.
They're not grandfathering any that
You
have other.
cannot grandfather health.
Okay, I'm just,
So,
So remember that. You can grandfather a lot of things as county commissioners, but you're not allowed to grandfather a health issue.
Right?
So here's the reg.
before you go through, make sure I'm with you. So the problem is now, every dwelling has to have a flush toilet,
Yes,
period.
period.
Regardless of whether they get a variance or not.
Correct,
So, and there are 25 properties that do not have flush toilets,
correct.
and we're telling them, you either move away or put a flush toilet in? What's the option?
are they living in them, or are they bunk houses, or second
Let's
house?
finish.
Well, that was,
Some are bunkhouses and some are dwellings.
some of them aren't living.
But see, this is the problem, you're getting you don't have a septic system, but you're getting a tax break with the property tax as a resident. And so they're no different from you doing your due diligence and doing it right than, cause they're getting the tax break. So here is the letter from the state, saying, no city, county, or city and county shall issue to any person a permit to construct or remodel a building or structure that is not serviced by a sewage treatment works until the local public health agency has issued a permit for an ounce. You can't occupy any structure without a flushing toilet. So I guess, we have the rule. I questioned the state again, and he says, yes, all structures are required to have an ounce. So what has happened is, we are suffering in the zoning office because, people are buying tough sheds and moving them up here, permitting them as accessory structures, and telling me that they're storing their stuff in them, when actually they're living in them. And they're all throughout the county. But they figured out that if they say it's an accessory structure, then, they don't have to put in a septic system. A lot of my accessory structures have tongue and grooved aspen inside. And, I know that they're not using them as an accessory structure, but they're getting the benefits of, residential taxes.
Thank you.
This is not a tax issue, this is a coming into compliance with state law issue, correct?
Correct. It's also an issue where how many sheds, I don't know how to do this because I have, and I'm not exaggerating, 50 sheds with decks and porches.
And your assumption is, on each one of these, there's people living there inside it, that's their dwelling without a flush toilet.
And it might just be a part-time home, you know, like a vacation, but that's
Now,
against
but
the
that is not,
state.
that is not excluded from the rule, right?
Correct.
So every structure that someone lives in must have a flushing toilet. And you think you have somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 like this. Okay. And does the state give us a guideline on how long they have till they come into compliance?
No.
Okay. And what is,
But we
what is
are
your
against-
office and the planning and zoning
We are against-
recommended to us to do?
It's already against the ALTS regulations, and they came out 4 years ago.
Okay. Are you
It's
gonna board
already-
these buildings up?
It's immediate,
Pardon?
actually.
Are
is
you
what it
gonna
is.
board these buildings up? Tell people they cannot go in?
Well,
One of
that's-
the, I'm sorry, because one of the problems we've got is proof. They come in and say, oh, it's just a shed, and without actually being able to go in and look, because I guarantee you go to any of these for a spot inspection and go inside, you're gonna see beds and everything else in there.
Especially the ones that only have that shed, right? There are those cases, so they're living in them, period, is their primary.
I've got a neighbor that put a nice tough shed up. He's there. He comes very frequently on the weekends from Denver. This weekend, I mean, I saw his vehicle was there. There was no trailer. There were no tents. There's not any portable toilet or anything. He put one up, a portable toilet, for a month when he was first challenged on it. But I'm sure he's right back staying in there again. But
So to me, it seems to me that we are already at a immediately have to comply, or like James said, board them up.
But here's
There
the
is no
thing,
timeline.
you can't, if I come into the zoning office and I get an accessory structure, and I show you my plans, and it's a tough shed with a porch or deck or something on it, I can't sit there and say you're lying to me. It's not an accessory structure. It looks like you're gonna be living in it. So, I don't know how, the only thing that I suggested, and I know this is off the wall, but an accessory structure cannot have a deck and a porch.
And I think you have a better way of doing it personally. If it's today, a building is built, you're gonna live in it, you have to have a building occupancy to sign, to let them in.
you sign off on
Right,
that.
and so in this case, I don't know why you couldn't, have it's up to you guys in the zoning, I would think, to say, if you're gonna build a shed, you can have a deck on it. You can do all that stuff, as long as you can show and prove that it is an accessory building. And
True, and when Jackie comes out
when you
to
come out
give
there
you-
as a,
when Jackie
comes
comes
out
out
on
to
a
give you
spot
your
inspection to give
compliance,
you a compliance certificate that it's
anyway.
a shed.
do it anyway. I do it all the time,
Sure.
cause that's how you close it out.
So then,
But when
then
Jackie leaves,
Jackie goes out,
And
when
beds come
Jackie
in.
leaves, the beds come in.
sure. So then,
Stove and the refrigerator and all the rest of it.
You're gonna have authority,
Mhm.
and I'm not saying you, but some official in this county, gonna have to have authority, not to just walk in anytime they want, but have inspection, just like restaurants are inspected for safety and health. I mean, and it's not gonna stop all, you don't bust down the
No,
door
you
and go
can't.
in, but you write them a letter and, whatever. And you're
If
gonna
you-
have to do that, I don't know how else you can.
If you give them a notice that you're gonna inspect and everything comes out here temporarily.
Right.
So what do we do?
Well, and does she have authority from the state to do spot inspections
Well,
on
it's a
this.
health, from a health point of view, she does.
From health and plus in the state statutes, I'm the only person that's allowed on the property. You can tell the assessor's office they're not allowed, but the zoning is. So I do have the authority, but I'm not coming in until Friday night to stay in my shed.
Yeah, like my neighbor comes out on his weekends. I think we just need to order her to work weekends too.
Give her Tuesday and Wednesdays off.
But what I'm saying is I have sheds on my property and they don't have decks.
Well, I don't think you can define
Yeah.
whether it's a
They can have-
accessory structure or it's being used as a dwelling, whether or not it has a deck on it. We gotta come up with something a little more concrete than that. I would agree, 95% of the time, if it's got a deck and there's a couple chairs sitting down, they're limited, but they could certainly put chairs on a deck and sit in front of their accessory structure
Not
without
definitive.
living there, yeah.
What
So,
would be definitive if you looked inside and saw beds and a refrigerator. Now we could say, someone's sleeping there. So, peeking in the window, I'm not making you a window peeker, but you know what I'm saying?
All of them have their curtains on the window or paper.
Do they have an outhouse or a porta potty sitting out in front? That's a sign.
No, they're usually inside.
You know,
chemical toilet.
chemical
Chemical
toilet
toilets
inside.
are inside.
Yeah, that's true.
well, it's an issue. I don't think we're gonna solve it today.
I'd like to hear a plan on
I think you guys ought to hash it over.
You're gonna have a workshop and
I'll add that to my workshop on the water too.
it's too bad the on-site wastewater treatment system isn't an on-site wastewater leach system, then it could be owls.
Great idea. I'll suggest that
Thank
to the
you.
state.
But I'll make this statement public, and we can't turn the county into an HOA. And so you guys gotta do some thinking, and we can't have people walking around.
Well, I agree, but we also can't,
Can't do it.
can't.
There's gotta be a way legally to come
have
up with
to
a
comply with the
policy.
law.
Yes, you do.
So
And
we
so
have to,
we have
and
that
that's why I'm
in
asking them to
the
go back
process
to
to
their,
do it is all I'm saying.
committee,
Yep.
the planning and zoning group, and say, come to us
Yep.
on how we're not
Give
being
us some
Gestapo, hang on a second, but how they're not gonna be a Gestapo, but they're gonna force people to comply with the law. It is the law.
Right.
We need to comply with it. And there's a reason for the law. It's
Sure.
for health and safety.
Just like any health thing or safety thing, in the police stopping a car for
So I
something
think
that's not safe.
I've asked you to go back.
Gotta figure it out.
Thank you.
Okay, so then the last one is, Mr. Prince, thanks for looking at my video. I
Yeah.
believe that, you have too.
Mhm.
I would like to comment about the, video that, I gave, that happens on all the sites that a deputy goes with me. I also, was with the DHS. If a child is removed, it costs the county, I believe Laura told me, $2,000 a month. There was no child on site, but we did have a report that there was a child on site. We had 2 deputies, so that was their wages. We had no idea what weapons were on site. This has become, tomorrow it's happening again. This is a frequent thing. We have got to get something together, and I know that unless you're in my position, you have no clue, but we need some kind of ordinance to be able to condemn these homes from people living in them. And I hate to say trash, because it's not a trash ordinance like,
Safety issue.
it's a safety
No.
issue, and I know that the deputies get paid to put they sign up to put their life in danger. But this is getting to be an everyday occurrence.
Why am
Not
I?
every day, every week.
Why am I thinking that you have the authority to walk in without any judicial hearing, without anything, and say, this home is unfit, you need to vacate immediately? You have that right, do you not?
Only when it comes to
Health and safety with
Septic.
children. What?
septic.
I thought
Well,
you had the
public
right.
health, if it's a
Public,
public nuisance, if it's a public health issue, And Alyssa takes the position that it has, if it's confined to the property, it's not a public health issue, it has to come off the property, like if rats are running to the house next door or something, but,
That's not planning and zoning,
no.
that's the
So
problem.
Alyssa only steps in if the trash is leaving the property. Cause then it's public.
So why are you going out there? What, you said it happens weekly, so what makes, what's the motivation, what impetus that gets you going?
Neighbors' complaints, too many people on the property, no septic system, and the property should have been condemned prior to me going out there, and it never was. Had the health inspector from Walsenburg, when Donna McDonald and stuff, they cannot find the report because that property should have been condemned.
So what is the condemnation process if you walk in and say, this particular property, and let's exclude just for a moment, because I think Chairman Flowers is 100% correct on the septic part, but let's just say you walk in and it's total squalor. We see the drainage and it's just pitiful. What process do you have or can you use to say this particular dwelling is unfit for human habitation?
None.
No, it's not planning and zoning.
Who is it? Public health?
No, it's the lack of this county of having ordinances that dictate what is and isn't acceptable for a dwelling, a residence. We don't have it.
We have no building codes, so I guess that's the downside of not having a building code.
Building codes wouldn't change that,
No,
would it?
building code wouldn't
It's how
have to
people
be-
live.
No, I agree, I agree, it's not a
It's a
building
health
code,
ordinance.
it's a health code, you're right,
I mean, she is not the health department.
I get it.
She sees a lot of it.
So Alyssa can't do it unless it's hitting somebody else's property, because we don't have an ordinance that says, you know.
But if you say, we need a junk ordinance, then people flip out and say, oh, who's gonna dictate what's junk and not?
That's right.
We do not need a per se junk ordinance. We need a health ordinance.
Right.
We need something in my preview that can say, and if you looked at that video, you could
Or
not
somebody's purview, not necessarily
walk.
yours.
You could not, right. Both towns have it.
Can I come over and see the video when we're done here? I couldn't play it on there.
See, the problem is that without defining clear cut what is one man's trash house is another man's
Right.
paradise. And
Same
in
thing
this
with
country, we are free to live like pigs if we want to.
That's right.
It drives Jackie crazy, I know that, but
The only reason we can't live like how we want is if there's
Affect somebody.
children's involved.
correct.
or if it affects somebody else's property.
Oh, affect somebody else's property, but
Or health.
So on this video, I guess, do you wanna go one step further and get, division of water up here, cause there's a drainage there. So what I'm saying is, I could take this step further, but when you start inviting the feds up here to look at property, it could be another ball of wax. So somebody needs to get a clear cut thing. And I'm not saying, but when you live like this and and I could get them for the septic, and I told them to remove themselves because they had no septic system.
That's right.
well, I know you're frustrated, but you're also limited on what you can do, correct?
Correct, and if it's health, when it comes to sewage or human waste, I can do it.
I'll try to find out what other counties do. I mean, most of them have building codes and everything, but, I mean, so people are free to build whatever junky place they want to live in, but, it seems that what we're trying to say, they need some standards.
Well, but shoot, they're even allowing Clint to hoard things and stack it up and live on top of the magazines, Where do you draw the line?
Well, and
That's the problem, and so, unless it impacts somebody else, if he falls off his stack of magazines and kills somebody outside the window, that's a different story.
And
That's
condemnation legally is not,
right.
condemnation is the process where the state takes property to use for some other purpose, we're gonna be taking the property, would be getting a court order to shut it down in order that no habitation
Right.
can occur until it's cleaned up. We
You'd
do our
have to
cease
have
and
a health
desist
ordinance,
orders.
you'd have to have a trash ordinance, you'd have to have a junk ordinance, you'd have to have something on the books
And
to
even
do
that
that, and
is
we don't.
limited too.
And you call it trash or junk, and then you run into a problem.
Right.
And that's just the outside. What allows you to go into somebody's house? Nothing.
Sewage. It's the only
Except
reason
for
you can go in
sewage.
there.
Sewage, I gotta see if you got a flushing toilet.
That's the only, but you only get to do that
No, in the
once.
state statutes,
I know, I
zone, you
understand.
can go on your property.
Yes, you can.
And I can go in their house because they have to have a flushing toilet. But I'm telling you that I don't wanna go in these people's homes.
I don't blame you.
I've been on EMS calls like that.
Okay, let's move on.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On, this would not apply to ranches, is that correct? Because of farming and ranching exempted?
Well, I don't know
Because
what,
there are some
As far as,
ranches
yeah.
that look,
when you say this wouldn't apply, what are you referring to?
if, you know,
A health ordinance
or
would,
something, it would.
sure.
Okay.
If it's health or sewage, I mean, sewage applies to
Well,
ranches.
sewage, of course, but,
And if it was a health ordinance,
okay.
certainly.
It's-
Sewage is the only thing we're looking at, right at this point in
Right.
time. And then also, water source, if you're in a drainage with all this stuff. Okay, so, as you know, the Wet Mountain Fire Department took down the firehouse out at Lake Deweese.
No, didn't know that.
And now they've, got 3 lots and they are ready to construct a new fire department on the 3 lots. They need to vacate the interior lot lines, which is a $50 fee, and they need to purchase a zoning permit at 60 cents a square foot. I was wondering if you would waive the fee for that.
You were wondering, or did the fire department ask?
They didn't ask, I'm asking for them, we usually do, but
How many square feet?
that I don't know yet, because
Okay.
they haven't got the lot line vacated.
And I'm
How big are the
assuming there'll
lots?
be to us to get a vacation on the lot line, correct?
I already got it sitting on my desk, that's what I do,
Okay,
At their request.
at their request.
So how big are the lots?
100 by 100.
planning and zoning does lot line vacations?
We've done that with that.
Why were we in here dealing with the lot line vacation at the airport?
Because you're the airport board.
No,
What lot
Where?
line vacation did you do?
on the hangar. We just went through a whole big.
Because the guy wanted to
I'm
build,
not asking you, I understand why we did it, I'm saying why would we be doing that lot line vacation and not this one?
because that's totally 2 different lot line vacations.
Okay,
He didn't get rid of the lot line, he wanted to build his hangar over the top of the lot line.
I thought we vacated the interior
No.
lot line of that property.
Nope, he didn't want it vacated, that's what we were in here for.
He wanted to have a condo.
He wanted to build that hangar over the
I
top of the lot
understand the
line.
reason why, yes, I get that, I understand that.
And in our zoning
Question
regs,
is-
you can't do that.
The question is, how come you could vacate one, but you can't vacate the other? You without coming to the commissioners?
Because the airport, you were the authority on the airport, the SUP's for you, and I wouldn't allow it. So they were asking permission from you to allow it,
Because
because,
you could have approved it, but you chose not to, so they were asking us to override your decision. Now I understand.
because the gentleman wanted to build that hangar,
I understand that
Bigger
now.
lot.
I understand that now.
and I wouldn't allow
And
it.
lease it. Yeah.
Well, you're a bundle of joy today.
Ask Mr. Smith,
Well,
So
I
what's the
guess
issue here with the fire department?
would you agree to waive the fees?
I will not until we know how much
That's
they are
exactly right. How much are we talking about?
$150.
and where it's at, and
You'd be vacating 2 lot lines
That's $50.
apiece?
No.
Just one, okay.
I don't care about the $50. I mean, but I don't know why we.
Why wouldn't you?
well, we have no idea how much money we're talking about for number one.
What, I mean, who cares? You know,
I see.
so
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we
I would.
approve it in the end, no matter what it costs?
Do you want me to run and get the thing while you guys take a break and splash some water on you?
If we take a break, I would imagine it will entail adjourning, but,
I can run right over to my desk and get their permit.
their building permit,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm good with that.
Sure. So we're just recessing.
I think she's walking though, just saying.
You said you're gonna run, young lady.
It's raining for her, it's raining for me.
I think we're just.
We're just pausing.
Pausing, it's a
Um,
pause.
Yeah, I certainly thought we were in the habit of doing lot line vacations, but let me go back and look.
They do it. We did, Beckwith applied for one.
She pretty
They
much
did
does it
that.
if it's
She-
not
The zoning board did it.
non-controversial. If there's something that might be a little complicated, she has been bringing it to
And as an attorney, how do you define that?
So she's just wanting to she
Her
wanted
judgment.
her to not take the fee is a thing that we would have to agree to.
So they wanna vacate, they have 3 lots and they wanna vacate 2 of the lines. And there's a fee to do that, and so she wants you
She
to
wants us to agree
waive.
to waive any fee.
No, that's not true.
What's true?
Okay.
She's asking us to waive the the zoning permit fee.
Okay.
She gets it. Just
Uh,
like
Counselor, do you have a home address? Because seems like we're accumulating.
Oh, that's mine too, I forgot all about that. It got moved over there, it was sitting here and I was gonna get it at the last meeting.
I couldn't pick it up.
Okay, well, that's
Those
what
are
we had
American
Kara for,
Doll.
she'll carry it.
Yeah, I
It's
had
my
Kara
turn.
move it, 'cause I
Can I
wouldn't
have
go
stuff
there.
delivered there too?
Yeah, if you don't mind us going through the boxes. Let's see here.
So apparently there is some confusion in what Jackie is asking.
We're gonna find out when she
All
gets
right.
here. So to clarify before we go any further, let me look real quick. You're asking 2 things here, correct?
I'm asking you to waive 2 fees.
Okay, thank you.
which are fees for what?
One's a lot line vacation, because they cannot build across lot lines.
Mm-hmm. So is it 2 lot line? 1, what's the other one?
It's 2 lot lines, but it's 1 fee.
Okay, and what's the other thing?
And the other one is a zoning permit to build the firehouse.
Okay, 2 different things.
So before I can give them the zoning permit, the lot lines have to be vacated.
Got it.
So, this is the lots. They got a deed for this from one gentleman. Here's the lot line. So 1 lot, 2 lot, 3 lots,
Why isn't that other lot line showing up on that map?
because I have a deed for this, this is just for my reference showing that I already have the deed.
Who has the deed? For what? That's the whole fire station?
Yeah. This is Jane McCarty, we're waiting for her to give a deed to the fire department.
Move your hand so I can see. The one right next to it.
Yes.
Okay,
So they'll own all 3 of these lots.
thanks.
The lots are 1, 2, and 3 in, plot 5. They need to turn them into 1 lot, and the lot will be known as 1A. Block 5.
Right now it's lots 1 and 2, correct? Not 1, 2, and 3.
Right now it's 1, 2, and 3, but I already got the deeds, I'm just, for reference, for reference I did this.
Right. You got the deed for that?
No,
No, I'm waiting for that one.
she has the
That's
deed
McCarthy.
for the original fire stuff.
So McCarty, Jane donated the other lot to the fire department, so she has to do a deed to the fire department. Then I do a lot line vacation, I rename the lots, and then they gotta do a deed from themselves to themselves. That's a $50 charge. Their building that they want is 33 by 68. It's 2,244 square feet at the cost of $1,000 $346.40.
Okay.
1,000 what?
$346.40.
$13.50 basically.
I'm asking the commissioners to waive the fees.
And they didn't ask to waive the fee to use.
No. In prior, we waived the fees for the
Government
government
buildings.
and special people.
So they're a special tax district.
Yes.
Building permit, 1,000.
$346.40.
And then $50 for the lot line,
Yes.
so
$400 roughly.
$1,400.
$1,400?
No,
With the
$13.50 for the other
$13.96.40
one,
would be the total.
plus the 50,
No, that's total, $13.96.40,
both fees.
both fees. I'm asking if you would waive that fee.
And we've done it in the past. We, the board, of somebody's board.
Yes,
Did Kit bring this in to you?
Roger.
I did.
I don't know, it's like charging ourselves, I don't know why we wouldn't.
I don't know how you could say that, Commissioner Candace.
Well, I
They're,
say it
they're
because-
not county, they
I
are
know,
a
I
special.
understand that. I get it.
Okay?
But they're
That
also,
doesn't clear up why I don't understand why you say that. How could we be
Well-
or charging ourselves? That has nothing to do with the county.
because I pay fire taxes too.
Exactly,
So.
we all do.
We all do, that's my
But-
point. So we're just putting it from one pot over to the other.
But you said it's like charging ourselves.
Well, I meant not the board, I meant,
Well, that's what we're representing here, is the board, correct?
well, I'm representing the county, constituency, just like you are, I get it. So, and if we've done it in the past, if we charge them, what are they gonna do? They're gonna get it out of the money that they've got to go buy fire hoses that impact me and everybody else in my district or in my precinct. So I'm just going through the logic here a little bit and thinking out loud, so we can have a discussion or not.
Let me take it one step further. What if a 501c3 or other form of nonprofit came to us and said, we wanna build something, are we gonna waive that too?
No, and the reason is because it affects fewer people, it's not the county, it's different. It's just my opinion, buy it or not.
Go ahead.
Prior to this, we have waived a fee of a 501c3 for a special event permit for a
Yeah.
race.
They
This
wanna
isn't a
build-
special event
No,
permit.
it's
They
different.
wanna, if a 501c3 wants to build a theater or some other 501c3 came in and said, I wanna build something and they need a permit, are you gonna charge them, or are you gonna come to us and say, let's waive it, cause we waive all nonprofit? If Beckwith Ranch came in and said, we need to build another outbuilding, okay, are we gonna waive their fee?
Not without your permission,
Or would
And
you
we
ask us
probably
to?
wouldn't.
yes.
Well, a couple things. From where I sit. I don't want you to answer it yet, but I am gonna ask you why you're asking us to do this. And secondly, if this was a county entity, planning and zoning wanted to build a building, and you're asking for a waiver of expense, I could understand that. The hospital district, the library, we could go down that list. Those are all tax-supported districts, special tax districts. They are not county entities. So, with that being said, I would ask you why you're asking us to waive it for a special tax district.
In prior years, I've always asked.
Okay?
I ask on everyone that's a 501c3 that comes before me, special district, I ask the commissioners if they would waive the fee, because anytime a fee is waived, whether I think it should be or shouldn't be, I ask the board. And in
appreciate
prior
that.
years, the fire department has been waived. But that
Can you
doesn't.
cite that specifically?
Yes, Rosita Fire Department, thing, the one out in Hillside, the new one out in Hillside, the one in Oak Creek, 255.
See, I just comment here again. I would agree that you would take a case by case basis, and then in the case of a small special tax district, it doesn't impact everything. You know, that's not a bad thing. But in this case, it is a safety for the whole county issue, in my view. I don't have a problem waiving it.
But they receive tax money.
Right.
And they're up, hang on a second, please. They have their own tax money. They are a special tax district. They receive mill levies to take care of their own business. They should take care of the business, and we should not be part of that.
So it is.
We're not part of buying fire trucks
Right.
for them, or hoses, or paying for their training. I mean, this is their business. They should pay for their business.
I agree. And my only issue again was it's taking it from one pot to the other for the same
I
tax.
disagree
For
completely.
the same
It is not the same
taxes.
pot.
Yeah?
It is a separate
Okay.
taxing district.
No, I agree. I understand.
And it's
But the
not the
district
same
covers
pot.
the county.
It may be the same individual paying taxes to the county and to the fire department, but
Just
it's
shifting
not,
the money.
it
I
is
don't
not
know.
our pot that we're taking it out of. It's
I
their
get it.
pot, and they're paying their way like they do when they buy a fire truck, when they buy hoses, when they train people, when they buy Coca-Cola for their machine. We don't subsidize that.
I agree.
And I thought I would end on a high note.
I don't know.
We're debating.
So, do you have the authority to waive the lot line vacation fee?
No, I don't have the authority to
A
waive
minute
any
ago,
fees.
you did. You told me you had the right to waive lot line.
Lot line
No,
is
I
a
have
fee.
the
Fee.
right
Asked
to.
about the fee for
That
that.
fee, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have the authority to waive fees.
Would you like the board to act on this today?
Yes, so that I can tell them that how much money they owe or
What's the
don't
group's
owe.
pleasure? Chair would entertain a motion to the effect of waiving the fees for Wet Mountain Fire. Okay, we'll move forward.
Let's, I move that we waive the fee for the lot line. I'm not gonna, I can go either way. I don't have a problem with the lot line. Just to
Is
get
there a
along.
second?
I'm gonna second
there-
it because I wanna make a comment that's not appropriate for me to say without seconding it.
Been moved and
So
seconded to
That's
waive
okay.
the lot line
It should get
vacation
on,
fee.
it should get on the record.
Discussion?
I am unprepared at this moment to vote yes or no. I am not discounting completely. I'm not discounting it. When I think it through as an entity, I have an issue, but I don't feel I'm in a position at this moment to vote for or against. So if there's a
Further
vote,
discussion?
I'm gonna vote, I will tell you now, when the vote is called, I'm gonna vote no so that I can get more information. It can come back up again if someone chooses to.
Further
That's just how I
discussion?
feel.
Public comment?
Yeah, I think it's a slippery slope. If you're friends with the fire department this week, or kinda on the outs with them next week, or the clinic comes and says, but you did it for the fire department, I just think it's a slippery slope.
Further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor of waiving the lot line vacation fee, say aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay. Motion fails.
Get it out on the table, that was good.
That was fun.
Anything else?
One more thing.
Okay.
Before I go, I would like to do an article in the paper about the containers and the rolls and stuff. That will be coming out because most of these people were actually, either turned in or busted, so.
Are you prepared to handle this? Does it have to come back before the commissioners, this press release, or are you okay?
If you wanna write it for me, that'll
I
be
do not.
good.
So it's only on the container issue. That it has nothing to do with the health issue or other things you've seen. I'm thinking out loud here again. I like the idea of the press release, and I like the idea of explaining to the public issues that you see in your position.
I think that a large press release with, maybe some other key points in it that I see arising, you know, and explain, hey, you can build 100 square feet or less and not require a zoning permit. Setbacks still apply though, and stuff like
Right,
that.
and
They need to understand specifically about storage containers,
Right.
because that's become a big.
That's
Right.
what you're after,
Right.
really, right.
Can I suggest rather than do a press release, we actually buy maybe a half a page ad and the
That's a
county
good
pay
idea.
for it. That way we control how it's laid out, specifically what we say, and it's incumbent
Sort of a
upon
learning thing.
us to
I like
get
it.
the information out. I mean, I fully trust the press, I mean, I really do, but if we do it, we can make borders around and make it pretty, and, you know, county residents, please understand, and then, or whatever you choose to do. I feel we should.
See, I do too, and I think getting people aware that there are people here that are health issues, and that, you know, health is an issue.
Right.
You know, in lieu of ordinances, I mean, you don't have to say that, but my point is, get it out to the public so they know what we're doing.
I would volunteer to assist you in writing something up.
Okay, my fingers hurt right now, so could you get started?
You are
You know, you never know when to quit. Have you not watched his face for the last 20 minutes, Jeff?
You probably wouldn't want me to be
You know
writing your
what,
press
actually,
release.
I have never been scared by a man.
No,
My
really?
mother, yes, my
No, wait.
man, no.
Mom.
I haven't watched the body cam video, so maybe that statement's true, I don't know.
I saw her get her face 6 inches from Bob Katnick's face in a meeting when he crossed her.
There is that.
How'd you do that?
Anything else, ma'am?
That is no easy feat. I've done it, it's no fun, trust me.
Couldn't get.
Okay, so, I've been really busy, as you noticed. So I will probably see you in a couple more months.
Oh, really, you don't do monthly staff reports?
I really would like not to. How do you think about that?
I think that's fine.
Thank you.
Come
Yeah,
back
we just
another
as
day.
soon you didn't, because you always,
You
of
come
course,
in with
if you
too
did
much.
monthly ones, they'd be much shorter.
That's true. Thank
I'd
you.
still roll them
Yeah,
up.
that's right.
So,
Will you be there for a few minutes,
what's that?
so I can see the video, or not, Laura can show it to you? 'Cause I
You
can
watched the body
Jackie,
cam?
we might be neighbors.
Really? Bring popcorn.
Ooh.
Okay, let's get back to our agenda. Any unfinished business come for the group?
I have none, sir.
New business, we inadvertently took care of the new business item on our consideration appointments to the EMS group, work group. Public comment?
I move we adjourn.
Can the public do that? I'm on the
No,
stage.
they can't.
I'll second her.
We can, without objection, the chair can adjourn the meeting, we don't have to go through the vote.
Right.
Why don't you try it?
Hearing
Just do
no
it for fun.
objections to adjournment, the chair declares the meeting adjourned. I'd like the minutes to reflect how many minutes the break